Should probably unmute the mic when I go live. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, Monk. Hopefully, Jack will be around. My guess is he's taking an old man nap right now. This is much later than I expected it to be. I actually slept. The last couple of days, I've had to stay awake during the day for different people to come work on my house. I had to get the heater checked out, make sure it's all running well, which it seems to be. Had to get the Oh, wait, there's old man Nap. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how'd you know I was napping?
I just assumed because of the time.
Yeah. Usually at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, he's not streaming. And then I'm asleep.
Yeah, I woke up around 1:30. I went to bed probably 5:30-ish, and I expected to be awake by 10 at the latest. And woke up and looked at the clock and like, holy shit, I slept. What destruction did I cause tonight?
Apparently a Kamala Harris interview.
Yeah. Look, as normal guys, I don't watch this stuff beforehand, and I didn't watch this one. I did go and watch just a tiny part of it as the stream was counting down to live, because I saw Dangerous in the chat said that some people were calling this a win for Kamala, and I immediately thought of the Krasensteins, because if anybody's going to suck up to her when she fails, it's going to be them.
Right?
And sure enough, Brian Krasenstein is like, I'm so glad America, the Fox News audience, got to hear this. And it's a clip of her talking about how all of Trump's old people who used to work for him don't like him anymore. And she says that it's clear to her that Americans are tired of somebody like Trump. She doesn't say somebody like Trump. She just lists off things, which include someone who has personal grievances. I'm like, wait, did somebody on the left just talk about how people are tired of folks with personal grievances? Really?
The irony is astonishing.
But even more astonishing, pinned on Brian's timeline at the very top is basically him calling Trump Hitler and comparing the Electoral College to how Hitler came to power. I'm not making that up. It is an insane post.
Would you repeat that for those of us in the back?
Yeah, the way that he came to power, you see, he didn't get a majority of the votes, you see. You know, like we have with, he doesn't actually spell out the Electoral College, but it's clearly what he's talking about. So yeah, because of the Electoral College, we're going to elect Hitler, even though we've been doing things this way for what, 250 years? I don't know. I'm not a Krasenstein. I don't have brain damage.
Apparently. They're just not smart people, you know?
Well, look at them. They're tiny little men, so they probably have tiny little man brains.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they do have big heads, but they're long, not big around. So it's not like they have a big brain up there. They're just two little retards. But anyway, yeah, other than that, I do not know anything about this, other than when I first got onto Twitter, I saw the words, Kamala was ambushed. And I had to laugh because in journalism, when you talk about an ambush interview, it's somebody who's going, the typical usage of it. Let's say you have a new movie coming out and you go on to E! Entertainment. Is E! even still around?
I have no idea.
I don't watch TV. You go on to some program where you're going to talk about your new movie. And instead of that, they talk about how you're in the news for beating your wife or something. It's when you go in there expecting one thing and instead they just come at you really hard.
Gross.
Well, Kamala should be used to that.
You would think.
Kamala knew what this was. This was an interview. Somebody asked on Twitter, why would she do this? Why would she make herself look like a fool?
She's a tard.
It was to own Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This was because Donald Trump wouldn't go on 60 Minutes and somebody goes, you know what would really show him up? If you'd go on Fox. I am convinced there is somebody who is working for her campaign that secretly loves Donald Trump.
Or at least hates her enough not to care.
Yeah, maybe they just hate her for a multitude of very valid reasons. And so they're just having some fun. Because there's no good that could come from this. She's not smart enough in interviews with friendly folks.
Oh my God, I know. So
And they're like, "Oh, he's so afraid of 60 Minutes and CBS. What would really own him is if you went on Fox News to show how you're not afraid."
Yeah,
And in theory, it's a great idea. In theory, it's a political master move. In reality, your candidate is Kamala Harris.
yeah, I was gonna say, if this were a normal candidate, yes.
Yeah.
But she's kind of tarded. The only thing that would be worse is if Tim Walz decided to teach special needs kids how to play basketball, and while being interviewed.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I just
pay money to watch, but
I was getting the stream ready, and I bring up YouTube so I can go over to my channel and do the behind the scenes stuff. And I see an interview with a game dev. This is entirely off point, guys. We'll get to the thing in a minute. There's a new game coming out, Jack, called Planet Coaster 2. And it's a theme park video game. I have Planet Coaster 1. I fucking love it. I've enjoyed it for years. And I got ambushed by that game coming out later this year.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting it. So donate a lot, guys, because Lady Monkey's not going to let me just get that game.
We're poor. I got bills to pay. I haven't paid my gas bill yet. So.
Oh, yeah. So that's probably more important than a video game. Just saying.
It's getting cold.
But this guy did an interview with one of the devs, and they did it on a roller coaster.
All right. That's pretty funny.
I was like, that is a fucking excellent idea. That is just smart. Well done.
Yeah, that's somebody thinking.
Yeah. So, with that out of the way, Jack, I forgot to ask, how are you tonight, my friend?
I had an adventure this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, here's some TMI for you. I went to Walmart, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm gonna check out the clearance section. So I check out the clearance section, find a couple things. I'm like all excited because I have like $20 to my name, and I found stuff I actually needed, and I'm cool, right? But I had to pee really bad, and so I put my shit somewhere where nobody's gonna see it and steal my sweet deals, and I go to the bathroom. Well, I got new underwear, okay? That got some new Hanes, right? I wear boxer briefs, like I said, TMI. And I'm like, I gotta really pee by the time I made it clear across the store, because the bathroom closest to me is, of course, being cleaned. So by the time I got to the other end, I really had to pee. What I didn't realize is that the pee flap on these new underwear are different than other ones.
Did you get confused by your underwear?
Yes, because the pee flap on this one, on these Hanes, the outer one, you know how it's like 2 layers, right?
Yeah,
pull them apart like horny vagina lips. Well, the outer one is longer than I'm used to, and the slit where your wiener goes out is smaller. I almost pissed my pants trying to get my dick out of this fucking underwear. I was so mad. I actually ripped some of the seam on the underwear. That's how my day went. I was so angry. I was standing there swearing. And there was another guy in there in one of the stalls. He's like, "You okay out there?" I was like, "No, my pee flap's too small." And there was some silence. He's like, "Yeah, that'll happen." Because what do you say to that? If somebody shouts over the barricade that their pee flap's too small, you're just like, "Yeah, that guy's crazy. Let's stay in here until he's gone."
I don't actually use the pee flap. I just pull my underwear down.
To stand up to pee?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. That seems like like you're halfway to gay sex. I don't know. I don't do that. No, I just use the pee flap.
Yeah, see, Peter just said to you, just open your fly and pull your drawers down.
No, because if I'm gonna do that, they're going around my ankles, and I'm just gonna be like, ta-da!
No, all you gotta do is hook them under your. This is a weird conversation, but since we're talking about Kamala, penis seems like a good topic. You just hook it under your balls and you pee, man.
I do wear a belt, Bubba. That's why I was using the P flap, because my concealed carry would fall out, hypothetically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a weird adventure that threw off my entire day, because now I have to adjust to 10 new pairs of underwear that have this different P flap. I know that's a weird thing to bring up, but
hear me out. Try just pulling them down. Open your fly and just hook them down. You'll be fine, I promise. And it works with all underwear. It's universal.
Sounds weird.
It's harder with boxer shorts, but because the boxers tend to have the thicker band.
Yeah, I wear boxer briefs, so
me too. So yeah, it works. I promise. That's
boxers
what we're here for, guys.
Feels like you're wearing shorts underneath, and you're going to catch your balls on your.
Boxers have no support at all.
Yeah, and as you get older, stuff hangs a little lower. So, I'm sorry to bring this whole.
Oh, you're fine. Dangerous. Sorry, not dangerous. Retro. Thank you so much. Planet Coaster 2 is now in my library. Thank you, my friend. You did not have to do that, but I really, really do appreciate it. And you reminded me to turn off Steam. I got an alert saying that I got a gift. I'm like, shit, my Steam's on. I'm supposed to turn that shit off before we start. Whoopsie. Evolved Potato, thank you. So Hitler was appointed chancellor by the president because his party got the most seats, and traditionally that's how it's worked. Then the Reichstag fire happened, and he was given emergency powers. None of this is like American election system. No, evolved. The Krasensteins told me it's basically the same thing.
I think they were confusing the Electoral College with the Senate in Attack of the Clones.
Maybe.
Because they're pretty dumb.
I don't know what look, I've seen these guys for a long time and the way their logic works, and it just doesn't. So it's fun to laugh at. Keldrig, thank you. Totally unrelated. Did you guys see the clip of Hassan all but admitting that the left has failed to convert young men to their cause? I didn't, but a couple of things to know about Hassan. He's always late to the party. And when he's, ripping off people smarter than him, like he is in that situation, he can be right. The left has just screwed this shit. They have destroyed themselves with young men. And frankly, with men. Dangerous, thank you. They said Kamala crushed it. I didn't say they were right. By the way, almost no country elects their leader by popular vote. In our country, the party who wins the most rep seats appoints the PM. Yeah, I mean, if you read into what Brian is saying there, basically the parliamentary system that is used in many countries is going to give us the next Hitler. And in Canada, he might be right. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that. Feminist, $12. Ah, yes, more of the dehumanizing rhetoric that has no consequences whatsoever. None at all. True. There's nothing wrong with dehumanizing people. All right. Jack, are we ready to watch this stupid thing?
Yeah, I think I stalled as long as I possibly could. So I as a result of all that, threw off my day, and I got a headache now. So
I apologize that tonight's a Kamala night then.
I took some Motrin, but yeah, no worries. The important part of that story is I did not pee myself. So I just managed to avoid being one of the dummies we talk about.
Last night, when I was done with the show, after you, me, and Undoomed were done talking, I told you guys I hadn't eaten all day. So I went and made myself some food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went upstairs. I just made a couple of sandwiches, and Phoebe came up, of course. And Phoebe sometimes likes to be carried downstairs as well as upstairs. She's a princess. She doesn't have to walk on her 4 feet. It's better on my 2.
Yeah.
And I'm walking about halfway down the stairs, and my son comes out, and me and him stopped and talked for a minute. And then I start to go down the rest of the stairs. And as soon as I take a step, my left knee just gets this horrific pain. Caught myself. I didn't fall, guys. But you know how when you almost fall and your body does that weird jolting thing as you try to catch your balance?
Oh, yeah. I hate that.
I did that. Phoebe did not move on my shoulder. She just laid there like, don't drop me, fat man. Full confidence that dad was not going to drop her. I'm like, I wouldn't act like that if I were you. Have you not seen me?
Well, she's a cat, so they're more nimble. So she will land on you as opposed to you landing on her 9 times
True.
out of 10.
And she'll be on her feet when she does it.
Yeah, and probably land right on your balls.
Monkey sounds like COVID. What? Being... are you talking about my voice in general or like...
You do sound a little deeper than usual.
I mean, I do have the sinus thing going on right now. My sinuses have been fucked for a few days. But anyway, so let's watch this.
Well, real quick, 2 things. One, hey, Jaeger Pony, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. And thank you, Retro V Gamer, for that very generous donation. Said, gotta spoil Jack too. I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna be able to buy groceries tomorrow.
Evolved says, Monkey sounds overblown. As a man, I can never be overblown. Anyway.
Sultan said, roar. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Jack navigates his boxers like Tim Walls reloading a shotgun. Yeah, pretty close. It's kind of how I felt. Like, like, what the fuck is going on here? So, yeah, you're not wrong.
Jiraiya says, well, your voice is awful, but that's normal. LOL, love ya. A couple of things. There are a few things you can never hit me on and actually damage my ego. 1 is my sense of humor. 2, my voice, because I sound lovely. 3, how good I look. 4, how great I am. 5, how I can just do whatever I want, whenever I want, and make it seem effort. Pretty much there's nothing you can do to hurt my ego.
Or your modesty.
Or my modesty, yeah. Insulting my modesty will hurt my feelings.
Most modest person.
If you knew how good I was, you would know that's a perfectly true statement. All right, here we go. Yeah. Brett Baer. Why's it got to be Brett Baer? That dude looks like somebody's squishing his face.
I like Brett Baer, though, because for the most part, he is pretty fair, and he does ask tough questions. Sure, he Brett looks Baer. Like a garden gnome. But
I like him fine, but and it's not like Killmead, whose hair is somehow receding in a way that looks unnatural. How do you have unnatural male pattern baldness?
I don't know, but I kind of like Brian Killmead too as a person. He seems like a nice enough guy.
But you can't have these beautiful women telling your news stuff and then have really unattractive dudes who look like they're in monster makeup being the guys on the show.
I think they look that way because the chicks are hot.
Like, maybe that's it.
If I stood next to Martha McCallum, I'd look like the fucking Gill man from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I guess that's fair. Anyway, Brett Baer's here to apparently talk to the vice president. On the screen, it's been there for a while. This is a Fox News poll, apparently. In September, Kamala was up 50 to 48 in their poll, and now it's reversed. 48 to 50. It's got a margin of error of plus or minus 3. So in either case, it's not meaningful. And frankly, it's a national poll. National polls can tell us, where the popular vote might go, but the popular vote isn't how we do things. If you're watching polls, guys, make sure you're looking at the states. Especially this year, you want North Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, maybe Arizona. We'll see how that one goes. Georgia. You want to look at the big 7 that they got going on in the swing states, as we call them. But
yeah, I think Arizona is going to be a suspicious one this time around.
I do not see how Arizona keeps ending up voting blue when everything about them says they're not going to.
It's because of all the questionable decisions by the election committee there and the governor. Yeah, there's some real shenanigans going on in Arizona, and I think New Mexico has got some issues too. So yeah, I would keep an eye on those.
At BC asks Nevada. Yeah, Nevada's considered a swing state this year. How important it'll be based on how close the election is.
Yeah, it'll probably come down to Las Vegas itself and
Yeah.
how Las Vegas votes, because most of Nevada's empty. So just
Look,
watch Vegas.
back in 2016, I'm sitting there on my laptop in my chair. Lady Monkey's over on her at her desk playing on her computer, and I was watching the poll result or the election results come in. You know how I knew Donald Trump won? When he took Michigan. As soon as he took Michigan, that shit was over.
Yeah.
So the West Coast states, yeah, they could matter. But so many of the states pop up before we ever get out to Nevada, Arizona, those kind of places. So if Trump does as well as I think he is right now, it'll be over before we ever get the results of places like Nevada and Arizona.
I just hope that we get another Young Turks meltdown like we did in 2016.
It won't be the same because Anna's going to be. I wonder if they're going to let Anna on for election coverage.
I don't know, but that was such an epic video to watch. I need another one, a sequel, a spiritual sequel at least. Somebody has to have a complete psychotic meltdown the way Cenk did.
If you're looking for that, I think you're going to have to. It's not going to be TYT this time. They might have one, but I mean, a lot of the people who are there aren't there anymore.
Yeah,
they've moved on to other things, and some of them who are have, started to come to their senses. Anyway,
thank you, Evolve Potato. You guys don't understand. If you have an ugly guy next to a beautiful woman, then subconsciously the ugly guy will think, hey, I could get that close to a woman like that. And Monk, you probably look great, despite your monstrously misshapen head.
And I do. So there. You know what? Actually, that does make some sense in a way to market things. Like, look, ugly guys, you can be next to the pretty chick too. I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Yeah,
you might be onto something there.
Hot chick in the troglodyte. It's a thing.
Retro asked before the show, "Hey, this is only 25 minutes. How are you going to make it? How are you going to make a 6-hour stream?" Just want to point out we haven't even started it yet, and we're at 22 minutes of the show. Told you I got skills. Anyway, although I can't take credit for the pee hole conversation. That was all Jack.
Yeah, well, I do my part. I try and help out as much as possible. I
do wonder though because I've never used the pee hole to pee because it's way too complicated. I just, pull down my underwear, and I wonder if there's a lot of dudes out there who listened along to that and went, "Wait, you can just hook it under your balls?"
I don't understand why people don't use it. Some kid went to a lot of trouble to make that pee flap at a factory for 3 cents an hour. The least I could do is use it for what it was intended for.
The only thing I've ever used that for is a joke to stick my wiener through it to surprise my wife when she's not expecting to see wiener. These days,
I don't think that's the intended.
It's not. I'm sure it's not the intended thing, but these days my wife has been taught to always expect wiener if I'm around.
Yeah, well, she's probably figured it out after the 30 years of marriage.
30 years of me surprising her with my wieners finally made it so it's not so surprising.
Malaysian pee holes.
Jesus.
That's what we're calling the flap from now on. It's the Malaysian pee hole.
I'm worried that there will be violence if Trump wins. Those people are fucking unhinged. All right. I don't want to say no, there won't be violence, but most of the left are pussies. Okay. You might have Antifa or something like that trying to start some stuff. I just don't really see it happening this time because they're pussies, and they shouldn't turn violent, Jack. I'm not encouraging them to. But you will notice a lot. How's Lady Monkey not killed you yet? I ask her that all the time. She's a very, very patient woman. But when it comes to the left, they talk a lot of shit. They don't do much at all. I mean, that's kind of when 2020 rolls around and we see BLM blow up the way that it did. Remember, a lot of the violence was Antifa, which is a violent terrorist group to begin with.
Yeah.
What even times when they're like, there's black people actually doing violence. Remember the Antifa dude who was paying black people to go be violent?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see anything too horrible. I think we're going to see a lot of yelling and screaming and stupid shit like that. I don't think that they're going to turn too violent. Plus, they know that, the right tends to be armed.
Yeah, they found that out when they went to that one town in, what was it, Oregon or somewhere. And all the locals were like, "Yeah, we don't want your kind around here."
Well, remember when Antifa was going to go to Alabama? It was big. So they're going to Alabama. They're going to go stand up to the racists. And then the people in Alabama went, "Come on down." And they went, they're a little too okay with us going. Maybe we should stay home. Yeah. So anyway, let's get to Brett Baer and Kamala Sucky Harris. Go ahead, bud.
Real quick, another brief diversion. Yeah, guys, for those of you that are in Europe or buy your clothes that were made in Europe, a lot of them didn't have the P flap in the men's underwear until much more recently.
Why would you add it?
Because it's easier to pee out, especially when it's cold and you're trying to pee outside.
It's really not. There's more steps. All you gotta do is grab your waistband, pull it down, and pee.
Okay, well, I'm just explaining what the P flap is because some people may have never seen one.
No, I understand that, and I didn't even realize that. Look, I'm American. I don't think all that much about foreigners and how their lives are.
I don't think about you people.
I don't think about y'all. But look, they don't. I guarantee you they weren't sitting at home going, "I wonder if Americans have to pee through their underwear." I'm just saying. And like, Americans are so arrogant. So are you. Shut up.
I'm not saying Oregon. That sounds weird, Wes. Yeah, they said they were going to Texas. That didn't happen either. Yeah, because there's a lot of places in Texas to bury a body.
Yeah. All right.
I've never seen a P flap. This conversation. It's basically part of the underwear that you can pull over and pull another piece over and then pee out. So you
right
don't
in
have
the
to
middle,
pull your underwear down.
Right in the middle, there's overlapping of the cloth to where if you pull it side to side, it opens up to make a hole in the center.
I honestly, when I started this mess, I forgot that a lot of countries don't have the P flap on their undies.
Yeah, just saying flap can bring up thoughts of the old pajamas that had the butt flap on them.
Oh yeah. The union suits.
Yeah, so it doesn't have the butt flap. It's actually just an overlapping cloth. It's not like velcroed up or anything. Although that would make more sense.
Yeah, that would. More like the Rocketeer's coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, for real this time, we're gonna start this shit.
Thank you, Circus Zero, for the generous donations. This Feed Jack Fund. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's really nice of you.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
All right. I'm going to start off by saying she's probably going to change your mind about that statement. It's good to be with you, Brett. I did see somebody in our comments as the show was starting say that Kamala didn't expect to be interrupted as much as she was, which I'm actually looking forward to because a lot of times this bitch just talks and so much big. Wait. But about the subject. And I hope that's what happens here. Again, guys, I have no idea.
The only thing I've seen of this is somebody replaced that railing with police crime scene tape.
Nice.
Thank you, Keldrick. Is P flaps versus waistbands the new cereal soup? Yes.
I just want to point out, no, because both of those are real things. Cereal is soup. Anybody who says differently is just wrong. P flaps and waistbands are both perfectly legitimate ways to pee.
Yeah, as long as you don't pee yourself, it's good to go.
Just want to point out it's 3 seconds in and I've already interrupted for no reason at all.
Yeah, well, it took half an hour to get here because I was talking about underwear for 30 minutes, barely.
Again, men's underwear discussion as we're getting ready to watch Kamala just seems right.
It does seem really weirdly fitting. I
It
hadn't
does.
made that connection until you said that. I'm like, oh my God.
Is she back to her white pearl necklace? It's hard to see from this. We'll have to see when
it
when they
does
do
look like it. You can kind of see a
Yeah.
little white there. Do you
There's a
think
couple
she's
of-
wearing an earpiece for this one?
Well, that is something I noticed when I went to get the thumbnail. She is wearing the same earrings she wore in the debate.
Yeah. That's kind of weird for me to wear the same earring. Like you only have one set or two sets.
Especially for a female media conscious woman. That's kind of weird. Now maybe it's a very special set to her because there's a microphone in it.
Yeah. Yeah, they have special meaning.
Thank you, Circus Zero, who says, because that is the best way to give it. And Gigi Evans, thank you so much. The Kamala flap. The Kamala flap's an entirely different thing. It looks like Arby's. All right, let's go.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the
She's
key-
in Pennsylvania again?
Yeah, she was in, I think, Erie, Pennsylvania, because Trump was somewhere in Pennsylvania too.
Pennsylvania is the battleground state this year, and Trump is going all over the place. I mean, he's even campaigning in New York, and people are like, why would he do that? Because he's running for president. And even as Clinton taught us, you don't shrug off anybody. Clinton could have won that election if she just spent some time in the Midwest. But they're spending so much time in Pennsylvania. I wonder if the Kamala campaign is making a huge mistake, basically doing what Clinton did without going to spending as much time in Iowa or Wisconsin or here in Michigan, and basically telling everybody, hey, the only thing we care about is Pennsylvania. I guess we'll see. There were 100 viewers on the Erie, Pennsylvania live stream, $99 or 99. I'm guessing that's percent. We're there to mock it. I'm not shocked.
Dead Rabbit said, "Monkey gonna get mad."
Uh-oh.
What?
Monkey getting mad. What's this bitch say? We'll find out. All right. 8 seconds in, we've already stopped twice. Fat pussies, eat your hearts out. Love you guys.
issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries.
I'm sorry. I know we got to stop. We're at 15 seconds. I've stopped for the third time. The last 3 elections, immigration has been a big thing. Not as much in 2020 because COVID comes along and disrupts everything.
Mm-hmm.
But how have we gone almost a decade where this is the fucking issue and it's not fixed yet?
They don't fix problems in government. What are you kidding me?
A fucking decade, man.
Yeah, well, it's the government. They don't fix things. They just talk about it or stem the tide.
Is this bitch, because we're starting off with immigration, is she gonna... I do know that the border bill comes up, and the only reason I know that is I saw Byron Donalds, bless that man, put out a tweet mentioning everything that was wrong with that bill. So I'm assuming the bill comes up.
Oh, probably.
I've been saying this, Republicans, stop defending and going, Donald Trump didn't kill the bill. I don't care if he killed the fucking bill. Start pointing out what was wrong with it, because it was a horrible, horrible fucking bill.
It absolutely was. Is there any way the volume could go up a little more on this? Or is that
no.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah,
check.
sorry. This is Fox's feed, so yeah.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
That's an excellent question. Fuck. He came out swinging with that. We didn't talk about it, but did you see JD Vance on with that old horseface chick from, I think it was CNN?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I know what you're about to say. And there were only a couple of apartment buildings who were taken over by Venezuelan gangs. And he was like, did you hear what you just said? Because remember was it ABC? Thank you. The narrative when that first happens with Colorado having different apartment buildings taken over, specifically there in Aurora. Isn't that where the shooter was at?
Yes.
Their original thing was, this has never happened. This is all nonsense. Even the local sheriff says it's not happening. Doesn't that sound familiar with the Haitian stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it is happening, but it was only a few of them.
But now it's a good thing, right?
Well, they haven't got to it's a good thing yet. That's coming. That's always the final phase of their bullshit.
Yeah.
It starts off with it's not happening. They're just lying. And it's like, well, it is happening. And then it's happening and it's great. So good luck, Aurora.
You guys are screwed. It's happening in a couple other cities too, just to let you know.
All right. Oh, got to hit the play button. He just asked her, how many illegals do you estimate you guys have allowed in the country or brought into the country in the last 3.5 years? If this is the example of her being ambushed, this isn't ambush at all. This is a question she should have the answer to.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question, and nobody has framed it this way so far, asking them about illegals. So, good on Brett.
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people.
I agree with you that it's a topic of discussion.
Certainly is.
Okay. I agree with you that it's a topic.
Sure enough, that's a topic. That's a thing people talk about. Sure enough. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Don't worry, Texas has 4 upped Colorado as gangs have taken over 4 complexes as a show of force after being pushed out of 1. Of course, it's in Austin. Yeah, it would have to be in Austin. They tried that in like Houston. Somebody gets shot.
He hasn't made a statement yet, and she agrees with him. No, she's agreeing that people are talking about immigration. That I agree with you.
I agree that people talk about that.
That's like, I agree. McDonald's is a place. It is.
It is.
They have restaurants.
That's just science.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you on that. The question is, how many illegals have you guys let in? I agree with you. People talk about it. All right, look. Granted, she only said like 8 words so far, and I already stopped. So maybe she, sure, she's going to answer the question honestly.
Yeah, right. I was raised in a middle-class household.
People want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a number? Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay.
The point is, how many have come in? How many of you it's the fucking question.
I agree that it's a thing people want to talk about, but I'm going to proceed to dodge and weave right now. Thank you, Brett.
Not just, I love the part as we come back in from where I paused it, y'all. She adds to that a legitimate discussion about it. You guys have a legitimate reason. Kamala's decided it's legitimate for you guys to talk about it.
Oh, that's so nice of her. Look how giving she is.
It's legitimate for you to want to talk about it.
Yeah, not to actually talk about it, but to want to talk about it. Because we can all want to talk about things that we want to talk about, but to talk about them could be inconvenient and hurtful to some people who don't want to talk about them.
This is just already insane. All right.
The point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security...
No. We just need to actually follow the law with our immigration. It doesn't need to, the repair is just following the fucking law. We don't need to change anything except to follow the fucking law. Kick them out.
No, sir. See, we have to change that so there's a path to citizenship.
No, we don't.
Terry said that
Well, no,
85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration.
estimate.
But you haven't, I'm not finished. You haven't even come close. You tried changing the subject. You literally, let's talk about the real issue. The real issue is the question, bitch.
This is the start of it, too. Like, she's starting to already get annoyed. Look at her. Look at her body language. She's irritated that he won't let her just ramble on some gibberish nonsense like usual and then not answer the question.
I'd just like to point out her pearl necklace is on a gold rope. Is this a hint to Diddy that she still loves him?
I mean, I rule nothing out.
6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get you the question. I promise you.
No, you already gave her the question. She just hasn't answered it close. I'll get you the question. You already asked her a question. All right.
Beginning to answer.
And
No, you weren't.
when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial.
Yep.
So instead,
and gave them phones so that they could call them and go, hey, it's time for you to come get kicked out of the country. And oddly enough, that didn't work. Especially
after they flew them to other cities.
Yeah, they've flown them all across. Why would a country like Springfield, or sorry, a city like Springfield get a third of their population from outside?
Especially when it's not a booming city. It's a very poor city.
With 60,000 people in it, and you brought in another 20,000. It's a demographic switch. And no, guys, I'm not talking about white replacement. I'm talking about American replacement.
Yeah.
Remember, they do not ever need these people to vote. A lot of people, I think that is the overall goal, is to get them eligible to vote, but they don't need it. All they need to do is change the demographics so they can get more congressmen into power, and then they can change whatever they want to. Get more electoral votes for states like, I don't know, Illinois.
Included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes.
Joe Biden told us that that's nothing to worry about because sisters are going to rape and impregnate their sisters. So, Brett, how dare you bring that up? Still one of my favorite moments in political history, Jack. The president of the United States telling us how women are going to impregnate other women.
They're sisters.
They're sisters.
It's bad enough that chicks are raping chicks, but they're going to impregnate their sisters with their female seed. They must be trans sisters.
Must be.
See what I did there? Trans sisters.
Looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning
Look at her face.
of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure.
Stop. Because before you ever did a bill to Congress, which, by the way, she's going to lie about what that bill was. I haven't seen this, but I've seen her answers to this before. Before any of that happened, remember, day one, what did Biden do? Signed a whole bunch of executive orders that overturned Trump's executive orders.
Yep.
Before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath.
Hey, real quick, Kamala, it's not a good idea to remind people of all this money you spent that hasn't helped them.
That hasn't done anything.
Well, it has done something. It increased inflation as we flooded the market with fake money.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Probably not a good idea to, before we did any of this stuff that really fucked you over bad. We were fucking you over before even that.
We fucked you over with a different thing and then fucked you over out of your job.
Within hours of taking the oath.
Was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called
And-
the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship.
Hang on one second. Let me get this before we move along there. He really is pushing back, and I'm glad he is. He's pointing out what that bill was, and good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ambiguously gay Brian Krasenstein. Thank you. So it just says K. I'm assuming it's Krasenstein. Hey there, Monk and Jack. That opening segment about men's wardrobe men's. See how the fucking Super Bowl suit fucked me up? Wardrobe and functionality. I just went to misfunction. Anyway, men's wardrobe functionality was quite educational, and I enjoy it a lot. Unfortunately, my rewind button is broken. Will you please revisit the entire topic in detail so I can practice it with my brother Ed? Unfortunately, no. We got to watch this gay shit instead. Sorry. So she's bringing up the it's basically an amnesty bill, a path to citizenship. This is what they always say. We need to fix the immigration system. We need a path to we have a path to citizenship. Ask any of the legal immigrants in the country. Ask the ones who have become citizens. They had a path. Is it easy? No. Should it be? No.
No, it should be. It should be a little challenging.
Tyrai, thank you. What nightmare did I log into? Kamala thought she was going to show up Trump and go on a hostile news organization and put people in their place.
Yeah, you missed us talking about P-flaps earlier on underwear.
You'll have to reverse to see that.
Yeah, we're not.
Sorry. I meant to hit that button instead of play. I cut her off a little bit, and so I want to see this exchange here.
Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that
responding to the point you're raising.
Okay.
And
that is kind of important what he just said there. Because, see, the White House can't actually introduce bills into Congress. What they can do is suggest, hey, Congress, why don't you take this up? And then they need a sponsor in the House to be like, hey, that's my bill, and put their name on it. And they controlled the House and the Senate. They controlled all of the government, not the way they did with Obama in 2008 when they had the supermajority in the Senate.
Yeah.
But enough that this could have been brought up and should have been and should have been voted on if it was such a great thing.
And I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to finish.
Okay. I have no doubt it's why she wears the pearl necklace.
Well, that means she finished.
There's a way to be like, I'd like to finish that answer. And female politicians always screw this up.
Yeah.
Because they come off just looking bitchy.
Yeah. It's so rarely a polite, like, can I just finish this point, please?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Or let him explain what the bill was. She's the one that brings it up. And then defend the bill. That's all you got to do. Can I finish? What's the South Park episode where the person keeps saying that and then eventually, okay, I'm finished?
I don't remember the episode, but I know what you're talking about.
It was either Terrence or Philip, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
All right. I know it was one of their Canadian characters. I just don't remember which one.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people.
Can we just go over the questions so far? It was It was the Canadian PM. Thank you. The first question was, how many illegals have you let into the country? And the second question was, do you regret taking back Trump's policies? To your question, we recognized that it was an important thing to do. All right. But the question isn't whether or not immigration is an important topic. The question is, did you guys fuck it up? You want to get to the brass tacks of it? You want to get to the heart of it, the meat of it? Did you guys fuck up? That's the question.
Yeah, that's basically what he's asking, but she's not even remotely answering it.
She's not even coming close.
No, it's the usual gibberish that she always gives. It's just some circular commentary of actual words that don't mean anything in the order they're given.
The point isn't that immigration, and she even did that with the beginning of her answer, the very first answer. I agree that is a topic. Nobody's saying it's not a topic, and nobody's saying it's not important. The question is, do you stand by the crap that you guys have done that has led us to where we are? Keldrick, thank you. I was assured that Brett would be talking over Kamala. To my eternal disappointment, all I'm seeing is Kamala talking over Brett. In fairness, he has interrupted her twice already because she's not answering the fucking question.
Yeah, because she's just babbling like usual. Yeah. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Tyrite. All these interviews are very painful. Yet I see so many Harris Wall signs in my area. How are people this blind and deaf to reality? Because they've made it easy to deny reality now.
And
there's
not
entire
just
industries about it.
And not just that. I mean, remember, a lot of people voting for Kamala aren't voting for Kamala. They're voting against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The left has done a very good job of demonizing Donald Trump. And you have people who will look at Kamala Harris and go, I could never vote for that bitch, but the option is her or Trump, so I got to. It's much like with Biden. There was no excitement for Biden. There's been none for Kamala. Even if you go back and watch the DNC, I mean, I kept hearing about how energized and everything they were. It is so manufactured.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border.
What is
does she think there's a no man's land between Mexico and America? What's a point between borders?
I don't know.
Like, is that where the minefields are? Is that a liminal space where, like, it's the white space between comic book panels? I'm confused here. Is this like the back rooms? You glitch out into this area, and there's a bunch of Mexicans in these empty rooms going, hey, how's it going? I'm on my way to America.
Anonymous, thank you so much. YouTube ads suck. Have some revenue. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
She's listing. We took these steps to do these things. None of these things have been done.
But she's not saying they were done. She's saying they took the steps to doing
to get them done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the things that you did, verifiable things that you did, that you have to know was a mistake, was what Brett asked you about. You reversed so many of Trump's policies. And your answer is, we took steps to do things at the border crossings between the border. I don't even fucking know what she's talking about.
All right, let me sum this up. Why are you mansplaining?
It's not even mansplaining. It's retard-splaining. This chick's an idiot.
She is really dumb. I am more and more convinced every day.
Yeah, and nobody can accuse us of just being sexist because Go watch how I talk about walls.
Yeah. Also really, really dumb.
Really retarded. Yeah.
Oh, so retarded.
Entry points. That's the work we did. And we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress,
Yeah.
to actually strengthen the border. That
Again, that bill would not have strengthened the border at all. What she has now pivoted, because she did this before, where she talked about how when we first got into office, we put out a bill, and then immediately switches to the bill from 6 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever the fuck it was. 3.5 years into the administration, which again didn't do anything except guarantee about 2 million illegals guaranteed would be processed into the country every year. It did things like fund lawyers for these idiots, and don't forget the $60 billion to Ukraine, for our border security.
Yeah, well, and the money for Israel or the Gazans, because there's a border to Mexico there.
Adebisi, thank you so much for that donation with no message. I appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, friends. Oh, Furry's internal parasite.
Oh,
so Streamlabs has decided I don't exist, so I have a Kamala volcanous rectal discharge.
ew.
Oh, that was icky, but thank you. Sorry if I butchered your name there. And thank you, BC, for the generous donation with no message. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Tyra, thank you. They literally said come to America, and day one wasn't it 60K jobs lost to kill the pipeline? I don't remember how many, but yeah, day one they killed the Keystone XL.
Yeah, it was a ton of jobs. All the associated jobs with that pipeline went away too. So you're talking like not just the people that were going to work on it losing jobs, but the revenue for the towns, which means gas stations, restaurants, hotels, everything associated with it. Housing in general. There's a lot that was lost there.
Yeah. But hey, they were worried. They knew that it was going to be an issue. This is an extraordinarily bad answer. Even for her, this is a bad answer.
Border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill.
The Border Patrol agents just came out and supported Donald Trump, by the way. He actually had a bunch of them up on stage the other day.
Yeah, maybe some of the more political upper management guys supported it, but there's no way the actual agents on the ground did. They are so sick and tired of looking like concierge service for a bunch of foreign invaders.
It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic.
How is it going to stop fentanyl? By having more agents who are instructed to take down razor wire from the Texas border? The problem has never been that we need more agents. It's that you won't let them do their fucking job.
Yeah.
We need more agents now because you flooded the fucking country with illegals and we got to get them out. But you were the ones who have made their jobs impossible to do properly.
Yeah. And just like Assassin said, the bill would have made for processing newcomers, not actually kicking them out. There was no actual border enforcement.
You have to understand that their idea of processing them is just going, yeah, we see you say you're an asylum seeker. Go on into the country. We'll fly you around. Just don't go to Martha's Vineyard, but we'll fly you around the country.
Yeah, don't go to where the rich people live. Go bother them poors.
Process didn't mean we would look at it and go and make a decision on whether or not their asylum claim was justified. It was literally just get their name down and send them into the country. All right.
Location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which
All right. Nobody gives a shit about transnational corporations when we're talking about illegals flooding the fucking country. I don't know who told you that this was a talking point, but they're retarded and working for either Biden or Trump. It would have helped us stop transnational corporations. Have you seen transnational corporations flooding our border? It's huge caravans of poor people walking from Central America all the way up here.
Yeah.
We follow them for months on their journey. Maybe transnational corporations should start sponsoring them. Like they could have like Nike logos on their freshly pressed shirts.
Right? Thank you, Tyrai. Monkey just reminded me how we set our border security to protect other countries' borders to include benefits and overtime. Why are our border agents protecting other countries? Well, they're not protecting our own. Why not do it somewhere else?
Well, because we didn't say that they were American border agents. They're just border agents, and there's borders everywhere.
Yeah, and they're doing border enforcement. It's just not in the States.
Yeah.
I have done
Yes, ma'am.
as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President.
For the record, I don't know if you saw this. Somebody brought out the stories from back when she was a prosecutor. She had one of the worst prosecution rates of all of the major cities in California when she was in San Francisco. And then as Attorney General, the closure rate or the win rate for the different major cities was anywhere from like almost 90% down to 70. Can you guess who the 70 was? Yeah, it was Kamala. But she went after the transnationals. The transnational. Yeah, exactly. Transnational gangs is what you need to worry about, not the corporations. You were the ones, the left are the ones who told us, how dare Donald Trump call a murderous fucking gang animals.
Yeah. That's spark of divinity, Monkey.
He called MS-13 animals. You don't dehumanize people like that. He's subhuman. Anyway.
A couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just...
Did you prosecute Obama for trafficking guns?
Or Eric Holder?
Questioning, because she was tough on crime. Except for when it was her party doing it.
Just finished.
6
And
Democrats
Donald
voted
Trump
against that bill.
learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election,
They love that.
this is
line.
rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually is focused on fixing
6
it.
Democrats.
People, you just accused Donald Trump of not liking it for political reasons. There could be no other justified reason. By the way, before Donald Trump ever called that bill out, we did. And it's not that we were smart. I saw it from other people, so I went and read the bill, and yeah, it was a shitty bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how dare he just wants to play politics. That's what you're doing. Politicians blaming other people for playing politics is got to be one of the funniest things that still happens today.
Well, the irony is staggering, but they also think that we're all stupid and can't see what they're doing.
Again, that border bill sucked. And even if the only reason it got killed was because Trump said, hey, don't do this, then I appreciate Trump for doing that because it shouldn't have been passed.
Yeah.
It was a bad bill.
Voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it.
I could kiss this man. He is the first one in these conversations where this comes up who has called her out on this shit.
Yeah. I told you, he's a good interviewer. I've seen him do tough interviews with some really recognizable people, but they don't let him do it very often, especially in stuff this high profile, because these higher ups are protected. He could do a tough interview with Netanyahu, but God forbid you get near Joe Biden and make him pee himself.
And what he said there is 1.8 million. That's the nearly 2 million I was talking about before. That is the minimum that would have been processed in. That is with the average of being over 5,000 for, what is it, 7 days in a row, and then they would lock down the border. So it's actually even more than that, because you have the first 5,000 before it goes down to the 1,400 or whatever the fuck it was. You have to get to that level first, and then we automatically lock down the border. It was a bad bill. It was just a bad bill.
Real quick,
These are the 6 Democrats.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. Okay, just pointing out, she is saying transnational criminal organizations, not corporations. They were kind of talking over each other, but there's no evidence she even went after those criminals. Honestly, she's a communist, so she probably doesn't see much of a distinction.
I'd have to listen back to this one specifically, but I know in other parts that she has said transnational corporations. Logical Mail, thank you. If Trump wins, I hope he does an investigation and on possible NGOs busing Haitian immigrants to Texas and Ohio. All right, here's something you guys have to understand about if Trump gets in there. He's talked a lot about, possible prosecutions of people and stuff. It's not going to happen. It's going to be the same thing that happened with Hillary. It's a lot of rhetoric during the election, and I get what you're going for, but stopping it is more important at this point than attacking these companies for doing what the Biden administration allowed them to do. I mean, if anybody's going to be prosecuted for that, it should be Biden. It's his border policy that's allowing it. Fuzzy Bundle of Fluff, thank you. The best way to shut a mouthy, opinionated bitch up is to stick a dick down her throat and promote her. Oh, wait. I have a feeling that's Willie Brown watching the show tonight. Yeah, a lot of this stuff that Trump is talking about with, going after, it's not going to happen. It's just not.
But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed.
Did you see that clip?
No.
Oh, yeah. Bill Clinton said that on the campaign trail for Kamala.
Wow. That's a pretty bold move.
Yeah. Keldrick, thank you. Donald Trump is playing politics. Well, yeah, politicians play politics. It's literally their job, indeed. Yeah, Bill Clinton went out there and said that he specifically invoked Laken Riley, that these guys, if they had been vetted properly, this probably wouldn't have happened. He's on the campaign trail for her.
Are you sure?
I am telling you. I know, right? Yeah. The way I saw it was somebody's like, I think Clinton wants her to lose. And then, yeah, that clip. That 100% happened. And it's not taken out of context. You can go watch the whole thing. And look, he's probably right. I mean, if we were vetting these people, using our immigration system the way we're supposed to, these people would probably still be alive. But did you see her when he read that? She looks down at his paper.
Who gave you that?
He really got under her skin with this question. Watch her eyes.
Just saying, if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened,
she was thinking, how come you didn't give me those questions like they did for Ta-Nehisi Coates on CBS?
Right.
This is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that.
Okay. Can we I realize the politician in you makes you think that you have to say that's tragic every time something tragic's brought up. But the question is, do you owe them an apology?
No, the question is, why is Brett Baer so mean to a woman?
Oh my God. Now I see why people are saying she was ambushed. This isn't ambush. This is how she should have been questioned all along.
Yeah, but to her, it's going to be an ambush.
Oh yeah, this was dirty politics from Fox News if you're a lefty.
How dare they? Oh, thank you, Fuzzy Lumpkin. He was 12 inches long and 2 inches thick. Bad Bill. Big Bad Bill. Dun dun. Bad Bill. Dun dun. Thank you.
There's no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border.
This is why he brought up that this stuff happened before your fucking retarded border bill.
Yep, he made it a specific point to say before Donald Trump got involved, before the border bill. Yeah, he made it a very good point, but she does not have a good answer for this.
And this is why she's going to lose is shit like this. You have to have an answer. And again, we made mistakes is an answer. And you know what?
Yeah.
You will actually, there's tons of people who think just admitting a mistake is noble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of what you should normally do.
Yeah.
Hey, we got it wrong on that, and we are taking steps. And Trump stopped the steps we were trying to do. You know what I mean? And instead, she's just like, it's all because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump caused things that happened before he even got involved.
Yeah, he's a big old meaty pants, and he is super mean to us.
I am waiting for them to get to the Voldemort stage where they won't even say his name. They'll just be like, he who can't be named did this.
Yes, clearly, through his wizarding powers.
Jesus Christ.
More support for the folks who are working around the clock, trying to hold it all together.
You got kids
to
killed.
ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days.
But the harm occurred because of what you did.
No, we need to look to the future, not be burdened by the past.
Unless we're talking about Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, well, a bad past, the evil white men. But these are saints and brown people, Monkey.
Days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
I'm sorry. You guys don't bring up this border bill until the election. Okay? 9 months ago, the election season has already kicked off. And I only care about it for an election. That's you. People can't be dumb enough to fall for this.
Oh, Monkey, look, Trump is a big old meanie pants. He went out and when he wasn't even in office, got a bill killed in Congress because he has superpowers like that. And then he kicked a puppy on his way to do bad things because he's an orange man who does bad things.
Evolve says, you didn't solve a problem, Kamala, you caused it. Yeah, you have to understand what she's arguing here is that Trump wouldn't let her fix a problem they caused, which, by the way, didn't need any bill to be passed. Because all of the shit that happened with immigration didn't happen because of a bill through Congress. It was the pen and the telephone from Barack Obama. It was executive order. It was telling them, hey, go out there and cut that fence that's keeping illegals from coming into Texas in that area. That's what you were using the Border Patrol for. You guys actually sued Texas over it. That's how much they care about the border, Jack, and making sure that another Laken Riley doesn't happen. They sued Texas to stop them from keeping illegals coming into Texas.
Like you do.
But don't worry, it's all Trump's fault.
Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe.
But hey, if Trump would have supported a bill 6 months after that, then she wouldn't have been dead. I don't know. Kittens don't fart. That's not true. I had a kitten that farted. She's now a cat that farts a lot less.
They're little ladies.
But thank you.
They don't do that.
Phoebe is the reason I know cats fart because I've heard her do it while she was sitting on my chest.
Ew.
Yeah. Thank you, kittens don't fart. Is she unburdened by her slave-owning heritage yet? I am a Brit. I was paying off for 30 plus years of my life post 1970, you race baiting twunt. Yeah. Nobody ever talks about how much Britain paid to end slavery over there.
Oh, yeah.
They just finished that not long ago. And they outlawed slavery, what, back in the 1850s?
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did it by paying off the people who had slaves to let them go. And they paid for it for a century plus. Dangerous, thank you. Those are tragic cases. That's why he's bringing them up. And the border agents, the way you're using them, would cause more of this. By the way, her and Joe said, for 3 years, the border is secure. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. Thank you, Phoebe. Pull my finger. No. Pull my claw. All right. I didn't mean to interrupt the grieving mother here, but this isn't going to make any impression with Kamala because she refuses to take any responsibility for what's happened. It's all Trump's fault, even though he hasn't been in power for 3.5 years.
No, it's either Trump's fault or she doesn't know what you're talking about.
It's insane. All right.
The Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss.
Do you owe her an apology?
That's a no. Like, I'm
so
not
sorry.
apologizing to that bitch.
I'm so sorry for her loss. Then if you're really sorry for her loss, then you would be like, yes, I owe her an apology. We fucked up. I get it. I get it. You don't want to do that because, yeah, you'll definitely lose the election for it. But if you hadn't been lying all along, people would understand mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely.
Okay. And?
But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions.
Wow, you redirected from a grieving mom to Orange Man bad?
Wow.
That's almost impressive how she did that. The balls that it took to do that.
I'm so sorry for her loss, but Trump sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Who let her do this?
I don't know, but they should be fired on the spot or congratulated and hired to the Trump team because that's a dumb fucking answer.
Logical male, thank you so much. Whose mom was it that she looks like a sister than a mom? I'm confused by that. Oh, whose mom? Oh, you're asking. Sorry, no punctuation. Whose mom was that? Because she looks more like a sister than a mom. Yeah, she did look really young. I forget which one of the people that Brett flashed up on the screen of the three girls. It was her mom. She's probably in her 30s. Yeah, I don't know exactly which one it was though.
Yeah, I'm a Dark Resurrect. That should enter a campaign right there.
Oh God,
that
yeah.
was a shit fucking answer.
Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all
her?
fairness, I told you I feel awful for what she and her family.
Do you
have experienced.
apologize?
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure.
I seriously, me and Brett, we're gonna make out later, y'all. He doesn't know it yet, but we're gonna make out.
He doesn't know how sexy I find him at this particular moment.
This is the kind of shit that everybody should have been asking her already and pointing out.
Yeah, and she's not happy that he's actually doing that.
Because he's absolutely right here. They've been, hey, the border is secure. If the border was so secure, as you kept telling us for 3 years, why did you need that border bill?
Shut up.
Better not, or I'll tell Vivek you're cheating. Vivek's still my boo. Anyway, he's my little spoon.
When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before.
Hang on.
I don't think that's what transcending is used for in a sentence, generally speaking.
We have to hear this thing in full here. Wait a second.
She and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration.
The border was secure, but it's been a broken system since before Trump. And that's what she meant to say instead of transcending.
Yeah, she meant to say preceding.
Yes.
Or something along those lines. What a dumb.
People mess up words. I'll give her a little pass on that because the rest of this is far stupider than that.
Yeah, sadly.
This is so bad. Seriously, whoever made the decision to put her on Fox News, you and me are going to cuddle too.
Administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride.
That sounds like a lie.
We're not talking about your sex life, honey.
No, that's standards, not pride.
It's both. Let's be real.
Yeah, you're right.
She was 30 years old and fucking a 60-year-old man. There's no pride in that.
She finds the wrinkly ones to be extra stimulating. They're like ribbed.
A 60-year-old married man.
Yeah.
Who looks like a fat frog.
He kind of does, doesn't he?
In saying that this is a perfect immigration system, I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases.
What is she talking
faster.
about?
We need this support.
I have no idea.
The question was, when did you decide that the border was a problem? Forget the whole broken immigration system, because that is just their code words for we want amnesty.
Yeah.
When did the border become a problem? Has anybody else noticed when you watch YouTube videos now that the line isn't completely red anymore? The closer you are to where you're actually at is kind of a pinkish color.
No, I haven't paid that close of attention, honestly.
It caught my eye. I thought there was something wrong with my screen.
Oh.
It's weird. YouTube, why'd you spend money doing that?
Something to do.
Anyway.
Cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
There were
that's how the
90
system
plus
works.
executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because There's other things to talk about, but
There's other ways to make you look like a complete idiot, and we've got to get to them all.
Yeah, we've got to hit every topic that you're incompetent on, and it's a lot.
Fuck, this is 8 minutes that I can only imagine Tulsi Gabbard was at home flicking her bean to. This
Maybe
was
she's the one that wrote the questions for Brett. Like,
fuck.
do this, it'll be funny. Do this one.
And good on him. And again, this is what should have been happening all along. When we watched Strahan the other day with Tim Walz, this is the kind of follow-up shit that should have been happening.
Yeah.
frequently we talked to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
Well, look, even if you go, let's say Trump killed that bill, you're telling me a man who had no political power, literally none. He's not in office. He's running for president, and you could argue that he can give you some sway in your elections. But we've seen people who've Donald Trump has supported who've lost their primaries. The man had no political power and was able to kill your bill. You are ineffective.
You monster.
So even if they supported that bill, you couldn't get it done. Anyway.
Thank you, Fluffy McTripHazard. It's been a while. 1883, Dr. Aguil described the case of a man who expelled a 1 kilogram, that's 2 pounds, 3 ounces, lump containing 34.5 meter, 113 foot, 2-inch tapeworm. That's fucked up. 113 foot long and 2 inches of tapeworm. You know, that last 2 inches was probably the worst part.
That's, yeah.
3 years later, Dr. Garfinkel saw a peasant who voided a 238 foot, that's 72.5 meters of tapeworm, with 12 heads being seen.
Huh.
That's nightmare fuel.
Cook your food, guys. Cook your food.
Yeah, do you know how fat you would have to be just to contain 238 feet of tapeworm?
Probably not fat at all, because the tapeworm's getting all your nutrition.
Well, you'd have like that Buddha belly. I mean, you know something's wrong because...
Yeah, you'd have a lump, but not fat.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah. All right.
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support.
And wow. Do you realize what she just said? They're frustrated and want support. So they are supporting Donald Trump because they think that's where the support will come from, sweetie.
Yeah. No wonder they're saying she felt ambushed, because her answers sound panicked and not thought out at all.
Dangerous, thank you. Kamala is scared Trump will try to illegitimately seize power. Also, he is not interested in being part of the political process. Pick one. Plus, more illegals equals a clogged system, you dumb bitch. True.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. All right. We were having a discussion about being quick on your feet in a debate, or in this case, in an interview. And it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
But she's running for president. She should be able to do this. Donald Trump gets hit with ridiculously hard questions all the time, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
he has not been a perfect person or president.
Trump's lucky in the sense that they constantly bring up two main topics. That's Charlottesville and January 6th.
Yep.
Or the election in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're so hyper-focused on those two things. She is so ill-prepared to answer simple questions about shit they've already done.
You're right. Border Patrol's the union, by the way, that is the head of Border Patrol. We had reports at the time that the rank and file did not support that bill. But let's just go with it. The union came out and went, yes, we support this bill. And he goes, but they just came out and supported Trump. And she said, well, they want support.
So they went to a man they barely understood.
They're frustrated, so they're going to Donald Trump. I think that's going to sit a little too well with a lot of Americans, sweetie. A lot of people understand that thinking.
Yeah. She did not think that answer out at all.
No.
That is a really dumb response.
Hey, maybe she saves it. Let's see.
They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done.
Right.
Okay. Maybe that's true in your mind, but they still went for Donald Trump. They just did this. This was like 2 or 3 days ago, Jack. So at best, if what you're saying about that border bill is true, they think Trump can get it done, not you. How is that a win for you? Oh my God. Whoever, now we know why this bitch had to have that fake dinner to go to a dinner. Because she's dumb. She is dumb.
Really dumb.
These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back.
Did you catch what she just said? The question is, why are they voting for Trump? And she finishes with, I get it. Why are they? I get why they're voting for Trump. That is not a good answer.
I think it also, there's an implication that they're dumb. Like, they're just dummy dumbs.
I get it. They're frustrated. And so she just said she understands why they're voting for Trump. Well done, Kamala. Well done.
And what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago.
That wasn't the question.
Oh my God. Every time.
I was in a middle-class household at the time.
No, we're going to get my values didn't change.
Oh, okay.
This is a my values didn't change question.
And I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over.
The question isn't whether you're going to follow the law. The question is, what do you want the law to be? If you change it so that they get free health care, then you would be following the law by giving them free health care. Do you still support that, you retard? God damn. This woman has a chance to be president, Jack.
Yeah, good one. If you're not scared by that, you really aren't paying attention.
Son of a bitch.
Over and over again. And as vice president of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
What?
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz.
Wait. No. Don't let her get away with that. You asked her, these are the things you support, and her answer was, I will follow the law. That's not an answer to that question. All right. He's going to ask about Tim Walz because this hasn't been dumb enough yet.
To mention before.
I sincerely hope somebody says, you know what? We need to send Tim Walz to Brett Baier. I might actually orgasm if that happens.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear.
Wait, we got to watch that pause again. That was wonderful.
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
Do you support these things?
Look at that face. Dude, she is very frustrated, I think.
Who told her this was a good answer? Because this is practiced. Because this is a new line for her.
Yeah.
Though we will follow the law thing. I believe Tim Walz is the first one who brought that shit up. But Who told her this was a smart answer? I need to meet these people because I could have so much fun with them on Twitter.
Yeah.
That just means change the law to every third world subhuman U.S. citizen. Look, she keeps saying we'll follow the law. Well, what's important is what do you think that law should be? And in fairness to Brett, I cut him off there and told him he shouldn't let it. He was getting at the same thing a different way.
Yeah.
By bringing up these are things that Tim Walz has done, which, by the way, violate federal law.
Look, your hate facts are full of hatred.
Because illegals aren't even supposed to be in the country, much less getting American taxpayer dollars for it.
What?
So
But there's a poem on
decriminalizing
the statue.
Federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
so decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not.
He didn't ask if you've done that. He asked if you supported it, which you did in 2019. This even goes back to 2016 and leading into the 2020 election. You had people like Castro, Juan Julian. Which one ran for president? I forget which of the twins.
They're both dumb.
He's the one who made the big push for decriminalizing it. It was just a civil matter, and you were on board with that. I'm going to follow federal law. What do you want the law to be, you retard?
Not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear.
No.
I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations from this.
You're the only one who's been a prosecutor, you fucking retard. You keep saying that like it means something.
Yeah, we don't even know if she ever took like first chair in a prosecution or anything.
This would be like Donald Trump going, I'm the only one in this election who's a billionaire. Duh.
That's true. It's true.
God damn.
Sinaloa cartel, to the Guadalajara cartel, to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career
what does
going
this have
after
to
people
do with
who present
anything?
a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work.
You're running for president, honey. She just did the opposite of a Biden.
Yeah, I don't know if she knows what she's doing, honestly.
I will do that as a vice president. You are vice president, you retard.
As the vice president of her love.
Okay, I just have to bring up the question again. The question is whether or not you support decriminalizing this stuff, not whether or not you'll follow the law. She does this every time she's asked about these changes. And again, I am shocked she hasn't brought my values haven't changed up yet.
Oh, show's not over yet.
True. But instead of talking about what she wants to happen, like, we haven't done that. But do you want to do that? Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. I will follow the law. You will be the one signing the bills to create new laws. Does this woman need to watch Schoolhouse Rock again? Fuck, some dumb Aussie schmuck can explain this shit to her. And I really wish you would, Dangerous, because nobody else can get through to her. I, as vice president, will go after the transnational criminal organizations, which she did say it properly that time.
Yeah.
As vice president, you can't do that. Job for 9, thank you. And she withheld evidence in a death penalty case. True story. She absolutely did. She also kept inmates in prison long after they were supposed to be released so that California could have slave labor. Tyrai, thank you. They used VA resources to help the illegals. Illegals have got more rights than the citizens, just like squatters having more rights than home tax-paying owners. True.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. Off topic, Australian politics update. A few months ago, our prime minister personally saw to giving $100 million to upgrade a road. A couple weeks ago, he bought a $4.3 million cliffside mansion that uses that road. This is while we're in a housing crisis. Wow, what a douche. Yeah, I hope that one floats around during your next election season, because that's really scummy.
Look, my governor touted how great the roads are here, and the only place they're nice is where she has to drive.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Is Brett going to show her a Trump ad?
I mean,
that's fucking hilarious. Yeah. I might even do a little cupping now.
Gonna give a little reach around.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Oh shit! And it's this one. Wow.
This may be the greatest interview in history.
Holy shit.
Like, he is just whipping it out and smacking her in the face with it, and not in a way that she enjoys.
Is Fox trying to win back conservative audience?
They might be. Their numbers have dropped pretty significantly.
Fuck. All right. Go ahead, Brett.
Surgery.
This is one we watched yesterday.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law.
That's not the... Oh,
that's not an answer,
God.
and that's a terrible answer.
Why is she afraid to say what she supports? I mean, I know why, because what she supports is horrifically unpopular with most people. You know, they love that when it comes to abortion. Most people think abortion should be legal. Most people think you shouldn't be cutting up kids or giving inmates free sex change operations.
Yeah, why are you cutting dicks off kids, weirdo?
But do you still support this? She can't say no. No, she can't say no because, yes, she still supports it. But the question is about her values, and she keeps going back to, I will follow the law. All right.
And it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available to on a medical necessity basis to...
Are you saying that Donald Trump is right? Because that can't be what you're saying as a politician. All right.
People in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aide said,
you were just accusing Trump of using the illegal situation for political purposes. Are you really? You are throwing stones in a glass house, saying throwing stones in a glass house.
Yeah, but she's doing it while sucking dick.
Jesus Christ. We have glass houseception going on here.
Yeah, it's just a house within a house within a house with it wrapped in an enigma.
say that he never...
Kamala would follow the law and send slaves back to their masters. Yeah,
Yeah, the Fugitive Slave Act was a law.
This is the thing when it comes to this. This is why you ask, what do you support? Not, hey, what do you think the law is?
Ever advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no.
Did she really just say those words?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. As she's dodged and weaved every single opportunity to take any responsibility for anything that has happened in this administration.
The first 9 minutes was her doing everything except accepting responsibility for what happened in their administration. Jesus fucking Christ.
But that was 5 minutes ago, and that's the past, and she is unburdened by the past.
God.
Jeez, monkey.
Fuck, man.
surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in
So
black and white.
would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgeries?
follow the law, just as I
you have a
think
say
Donald
in
Trump would
this.
say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think it's real. He spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has.
You can't answer this goddamn question. He spent $20 million pointing out that I said this stuff.
Like, this is children. It's a hot button topic that people want to know your stance on. Nobody gives a crap about adults transitioning. Nobody's talking about that except for taxpayer funded when it comes to the prisons and kids. That's all they give a shit about. And you're up there, out of the law. Like, that's an answer. That's not a fucking answer. Stop dancing, you stupid bitch. It's not funny. She's like one of those like weird people that gets caught doing something wrong and then starts twerking.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing? What kind of response is that?
This interview might be the October surprise.
Yeah, accidental October surprise.
Yeah.
It's like finding $50 in a pair of jeans that you had in the closet. I don't know, man. This is weird.
If I'm Trump, I take clips of this, the first 10 minutes of it, of her refusing to take responsibility, and then the answer where, hey, it happened in your administration. You have to take responsibility. And that's all I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick. Thank you, Tyrai. Follow the law. Kamala backed the bail fund that let rioters out of jails so that they could go commit more crime, which happened several times.
Yeah.
Also, we are paying for transgender operations in the military. Then they will get VA disability for the transgender medical for the rest of their lives. That's a really good point that people don't tend to remember is they'll get VA benefits for disability. But thankfully, on that front, the VA sucks and it should be disbanded and we should just be giving vouchers out. Like, you need that procedure? Here's a check. Go. Instead, because the VA sucks.
Q says Trump released this entire interview as his new political ad. I would too. This is fucking horrible for her.
Absolutely. Also, thank you, Keldrick. She isn't just shooting herself in the foot. She's blowing her foot off with a cannon. Yeah, I agree. This is bad.
All right, so here we go.
Say as president.
Like I said, I think it's real. He spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan.
A sense of fear that you're going to misuse our tax dollars?
I mean, that's a legit fear, if you ask me.
It is, but usually that's not what you talk about when you talk about, instilling fear politically in an ad. You talk more about the one ad, I forget whose it was, with the nuclear bomb with the little girl.
Oh, yeah.
Look at her face there, man. She is so pissed off. She's so pissed. This is wonderful. I'm enjoying this more than I should.
Oh, no, this is awesome. This really makes up for the whole P-flap scandal that we talked about at the beginning. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Kamala was just following the law when she shoved the Jews in the gas chambers because that was the law. Yeah. And you have to arrest anyone harboring them.
The Daisy ad. Yes, the Daisy ad is what it's known by. I just forget whose it was.
I don't remember, but it was a very effective ad.
Very effective. Anyway, Donald Trump saying, I'm going to spend money. He's causing fear. You're going to spend money. Jesus Christ.
In this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Where
you spent the first 10 minutes dodging every answer about how you're going to stop it. You do get that illegals coming in hurts Americans, right?
I don't think she does get that. Actually.
Whether you're talking about driving down wages or pushing up taxes as we have to pay for fucking entitlement programs to people who are not entitled to it. Having to get 1,500 more border agents, that shouldn't be something the American people need to pay for, because if things were being done right, we wouldn't need more. This election should be about what needs done for the American people, and I'm going to fuck them over. Jesus, lady.
Whereas at $20 million on that ad,
Yeah,
on
so
an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again,
is she admitting most people don't pay taxes?
Possibly, but she sounds really, really mad.
She's angry as fuck, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, lady, I pay taxes. That act, your plan to take rapists and say, hey, they're actually a girl, so they can go rape women in prison, does affect me if I'm paying for it, bitch. Jesus Christ.
and his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On
it was
plans for
different,
the
but let's-
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan.
Even if his, okay, look, Donald Trump's take on that, which, by the way, I would have to look into that and see what the fuck she's even talking about, is irrelevant to what she believes.
Yeah, she just keeps directing back to Trump as if that's an answer. It's not. You're just not answering the question.
What she could do, if you wanted to answer it this way, is yes, I still believe in that, as Trump did. That's how you can do it and still tie it to him.
Yeah, she's not that good though.
No. Well, because she knows saying that would get her a lot of shit.
Yeah.
She's saying it without saying it. She doesn't understand that. Hey, Kamala, we are, at least most of us, media savvy enough to understand that when you're refusing to answer the question this way, you're telling us, yes, you still agree with it.
Yeah.
Plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates.
Oh, dear God, she's bringing up the Nobel laureates again.
Yeah, this is that same thing. Like, I got 3 degrees. I graduated top of my class. She's angry and she's just trying to look smart now.
She's trying. This is a debate technique, not in like collegiate debate, but like political debate, to redirect.
Yeah.
It can be done well. We saw JD Vance did it very well during the VP debate, where he would bring up something but still answer the question, and then redirect it to what he wanted it to be about. In order for it to be effective, you still have to answer the question.
Yeah.
Metal Minister, thank you. Good morning, Monk and Jack. This woman is the definition of insufferable. Now back to the beginning.
Good morning, Metal Minister.
The first 20 minutes or so might be a little surprising for you.
Yeah, I think you're in for a shock on that one.
Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy. His would make them weaker.
How many of those places that you just named called out the housing crisis before the bubble burst back there with the subprime mortgage thing?
Shh, that's a hate fact.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Why do you
Would
think more
ignite
people
inflation
say,
and invite a recession by the middle of next year.
Why
Those
do
are
you-
the facts.
why
Those
do you
aren't
think
facts.
more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
Oh, go Brett. She's been asked this before. I forget which one it was we watched. But she completely dodged the answer last time.
Yeah.
Dark Resurrect, thank you for that. Feminist, $12. The more interviews I see of this woman, the more I'm convinced she is a sacrifice. She wasn't meant to win. Yes and no. The reality is she was a bad candidate in 2020, and she was the heir apparent. Everybody thought she was the next Clinton. She's going to go out there and girl boss the shit out of this. And when she did so poorly, she had to drop out before any votes were cast. They decided, well, we'll kind of force her on people by making her the VP. It's always been, going back probably to 2017-ish, that Kamala was going to be their heir apparent, and they've done everything they can to make it happen. I think what we're seeing right now is that the Democrats realize she's not redeemable. It's not an accident. It's not that the press hates her. It's not that the American people just don't want a woman or any bullshit like that. It's she's this bad. And there's enough separation with the way that she got the nomination that they can just leave her to dangle.
Yeah. I saw somebody today saying Nancy Pelosi's probably going to talk to Biden about re-entering the race.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Before I knew anything about this, I would have been like, yeah, I could see that. Now I would definitely think that's real.
I think Biden has been purposefully undermining her because he is what's left of his mind is still the same egotistical prick that he's always been.
Yeah.
And he desperately wants to be able to say, if you guys would have let me stay in the race, I could have won it.
Yep.
And I think we're seeing that there's some people, I'm telling you, whoever made this decision to send her on this is a fucking retard or purposefully working against her. And we've seen this on several things where we look at it and go, why would you do this?
Yeah. Real quickly, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Oh, and to go back to an old chat, I was wrong about the Texas gang cities. It wasn't Austin, it was San Antonio. My bad, so have money. Oh, thank you. I would have guessed Austin even if you'd said San Antonio, because let's face it, they're not that different of cities. San Antonio's nicer because it has less hipsters, but Austin's infection spread, and it's a really nasty one that Texas needs to do something about because, ew, hipsters. But
they need an mRNA vaccine against lefties over there.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
Here's the thing. When it comes to your candidate, you have to play to their strengths and avoid their weaknesses. This is why they hid Biden for the entire 2020 election.
Yeah.
And they could have done it again. And yes, it would have pissed off the press a little bit, but they would have been fine with it because they're on the Democrat side. They'd give a little bit of lip service to it and then be like, and Trump still sucks. I don't understand why they've decided to go on this media blitz. I do, honestly. If you look at the numbers, she's actually losing Michigan in all the polls now. This is a state that reelected Whitmer after she pulled the shit with COVID.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Her problem is on the national stage, just chanting abortion doesn't work, and she's an idiot. And they keep putting her out. Hey, please keep putting her out there because I do not want this woman to be president. But why you're doing it, I assume that you have a political job that you want to keep, that you want to be a pollster or a analyst or an advisor in the future. And if you're working for her campaign right now, you can kiss all that shit goodbye.
Well, didn't we talk about the other day how they were having problems filling the jobs at the White House because so many people were leaving to join her campaign?
Yep.
And now it's looking like, maybe those people just quit the only job security they had.
Yeah. You can work for the office of the vice president when the vice president loses the presidential election and still have your career. I don't see how anybody involved in this campaign has a political career after this.
No, they're going to be toxic because of how bad this campaign's been run.
Yeah, this has been run horribly.
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as president of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page.
All right, stop. The question, we just have to remind you, because one, we talked a lot. The question was, why do so many American people think Trump is better on the economy? And she's pointing to a whole bunch of people who told us inflation wouldn't even happen.
Yeah.
On the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump, people are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future.
This is the part that the Krasensteins put out that I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, where I went and just watched one of the things that they had posted? This is the really good answer, Jack, that all Fox News viewers needed to see.
People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan.
You realize this goes back to the border agent question. Why are Americans supporting Trump on this? They want somebody who's going to fix shit. That's why they're supporting him, and you should still vote for me. How is this a good answer?
That's a very good question, man, because I don't know.
I think what the American people that are supporting Donald Trump, they have a really good point. I agree, Kamala. Fuck.
Plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting.
Bullwinkle, thank you. Thomas Sowell speaking on Donald Trump, wrong rhetoric, right policies. I don't even agree with all of his policies. And I don't necessarily think he's got the wrong rhetoric either. Depends on what rhetoric we're talking about. So many people go to him being rude. Like, there was a story the other day that he told big donors that Kamala and Walz are retarded. I'm okay.
I mean, yeah.
The news article on it actually said he called him the R word. Unlike the N word, the R word is an actual scientific word.
Yeah, like idiot and moron. Those were all medical terms at one time.
Not just medical. Retardation is a scientific term, not just medical. I mean, other things get retarded.
Yeah, fire retardant.
Yes. No, don't say that, man. It's ableist to fire.
I'm so hot, I'm on fire.
So yeah, I know there's people who don't like that. I see that especially from women. Like, I don't think you should talk like this. Fuck right off, okay? Kamala is retarded. She might not have a clinical definition of retardation, but she's a retard.
You said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
And that's the albatross they put around their own neck.
Yeah.
Like, trying to make it seem like she's actually done shit. She's tied herself to every one of these.
Yes.
She would not do anything different in the Afghan withdrawal. She would totally blow up an aid worker over that.
Like you do. Maybe that aid worker pissed her off somehow.
Maybe. He wasn't a gay man for Kamala.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
That's still not an answer. What policies would change? I'm not Joe Biden. That's not a policy, sweetheart.
It's accurate. It's just not a policy.
It's not policy related.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear.
It would be the first time in this entire thing that you were.
Yeah. Let me be clear. I'm not Joe Biden.
She has said, let me be clear, like 4 times already and hasn't been yet. So I have no illusions that it's going to happen this time.
Oh, no, it's going to be this time. Old Gil needs this one.
Anybody who thinks she's about to be clear, I have so many bridges.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
This is another thing. She started this new generation of leadership. She debuted that during the election or the debate, where she's trying to be like, Donald Trump is old and I am I'm hip, I'm brat, I slay, I'm a fire bar, I got the Riz, I'm totally just like the kids.
She is lit, like the kids say.
She's groovy like the kids.
Absolutely. I mean, she could shred a gnarly wave, yo.
Let me be clear. I will be different than Biden. Okay, that's great. That's great. But you said you wouldn't have done anything different. How do those two things go together?
No, shut up.
What is it you disagreed on that you're going to do differently? No? Okay.
She could be brat, yo.
For example,
Brat.
am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas,
Trump?
whether it be from
Did she really try to bring up the political outsider thing against Trump?
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
and look, she grew up in a middle class household.
you've been in DC longer than Trump was. You were a senator before you became vice president. You've been vice president for almost 4 years. Trump was only president for 4 years. How are you going to play the outsider role against Trump?
Because his evil orange man influence goes back generations.
Sweetie, again, I don't know who's advising you, but you need to fire them because your plus in this situation is that you have been there longer. You should be running on I have the experience, which again doesn't do very well because he's been president and you haven't. But being a lifelong politician, which yes, being the DA is a politician, being the AG is a political place. They're literally voted into office in these places, Jack.
You say that, but I have a feeling that if I asked her, she would give me some sort of gobbledygook answer.
Her best answer here would be that she has the experience because of what she's been through as a politician. It's not a great answer, but it's better than trying to outsider Donald Trump.
You say that now, but what if society realized just how brat she really is?
I know, man. She's laying down these fire bars and it's just not landing.
Right? Real fast. Thank you, Tardo Kitten gives big hugs. Don't call me retired yet. I have a doctor letter that says I developmentally challenged special indeed. Yaifications, I'm full Lalo. Well, thank you, Turtle.
For the record, I have no doubt that Kamala Harris has been declared to have a donkey brain.
Oh yeah, she's got lots of donkey brains.
the Republicans
So many donkey brains.
who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital.
She is so frustrated right now. She is just going into talking points.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Look, price gouging is a real problem. Yep.
To our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses.
What homes are they going to buy when there's, by your own count, a shortage of 4 million homes?
Well, under Trump, we could buy the homes that the illegals are squatting in.
According to them, there's a 4 million unit shortage of homes, and she has a plan to get 3 million units built. If you guys can't do the math, that's about 20,000 short in every state. It's $1 million short. Whoopsie.
Oopsie.
extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president.
Can I just point out that Brett seems a little too prepared for this?
You mean like he actually paid attention to what other people were saying and be like, oh, so I'd follow up with this.
So far, we haven't seen him have to switch through his pages. And every time she brings something up, all he has to do is look down to get his facts. And we could see the writing on it. It's not a small font that they're using on his papers there.
I would point out that he works with Kayleigh McEnany.
Fair. Tailfin says she's just that predictable. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. You might want to rewind it a few seconds.
Sure.
Asking a question. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, anytime you need me to do that, no problem, because I know I interrupt in a lot of weird places. But I've been amazed by that because she's been taking these answers everywhere. And he just seems way prepared for this. Almost like she gave him the questions to ask. I know she didn't because this has been horrible for her.
Yeah, there's no way. But I think that he is just this frustrated with the lack of good questions in all of her performances that he was like, fuck that, we're doing this.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be weird for you to interrupt. It doesn't even have to start for me to interrupt. I've literally hit the play button and immediately paused it to interrupt myself.
Eagle said it doesn't have to be weird for you to interrupt. Yeah, it just happens when he does it. It's cool.
Assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page.
First of all, it's a really good song. No, it's not. Shut up.
Turn the Page is a great song. How dare you?
It's an okay.
Oh, and never mind. I won't start singing. This is a perfectly legitimate question, and it's one that none of the people have followed up with her on this specific topic. And again, it goes to that albatross she hung around her own neck. Mm-hmm. What is it you're turning the page from? Because it can't be Trump. She's running this like she's running against an incumbent Trump instead of being the incumbent vice president. We're going to turn the page because everything that's happened has sucked that I was an integral part of.
Yeah. She is the incumbent, and I don't know how they keep convincing people that she's not.
Her own rhetoric, I mean, again, it is her campaign slogan, suggests that the last 4 years have been shit. Anyway.
Page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the.
I thought we not supposed to be burdened with the past, honey.
Yeah, stop being burdened by things. That's history.
Anyway,
last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from.
I'm sorry. We'll get to her full answer. Does she realize that the last 4 years are part of that decade?
I don't know. I really don't know because she's kind of stupid.
Did you see the clip of Walz saying we can't have 4 more years of this?
Yeah.
Walz and Kamala have both said, I know his is more direct, but they both basically said that. And that's what she's being asked about right now. Like, we have to change the way we're doing things. Why? What was so bad about it? Nothing. It was all great. I'd do it exactly the same.
Yeah. She makes it sound like we have to change things from the way we were doing them, but not from the last 3.5 years, which have been awesome, but from previous to that I could have been doing this whole time.
And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was confused by that.
Evolved and Dangerous both point out 6 of those last 10 years, 10 years being a decade, have been under Democrats.
Yeah.
Only 4 years of it was Trump. 40%. The rest of it is all Democrats.
Yeah, I think she's taking shots at Obama. That's what I'm hearing. Oh, thank you, Cryptic. Mickey was here yesterday. She forgot to mention that I'm helping with the wedding. It'll be a Hobbit theme. I suggested she hire carpenters to recreate the Shire. The union of Samwise and Frodo will be epic. Yes, and I heard that you had been contemplating souvenirs, and I was thinking foot combs.
Cryptic, be nice to Mickey.
Thank you, Cryptic.
Okay, here we go.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country.
So Obama was trying to divide people?
Yeah, Obama was using Trump rhetoric. I don't fucking know what she's saying.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on that answer because it didn't make a whole lot of fucking sense.
And she did what she always does, where she gets overly wordy with it.
Yeah.
She thinks that makes her smart. And if you're a public speaker, you're worried about public speaking, this is not how you make yourself look smarter, by throwing in extra words that don't need to be there.
Yeah, it makes you look really dumb.
Yeah, it makes you look like you're lost in thought. I just want to watch that again in all of its glory, though, because that was it's not her worst answer yet. That one probably goes to, do you apologize, or do you owe an apology to the mother of the dead kid?
Yeah.
But it's not a good, listen to this shit.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country.
It's been designed and implemented to divide it. Do you design something and then not implement? Never mind.
Yeah, Tesla's death ray.
God damn. She's an idiot, man.
Oh boy, that's underselling what we just watched.
She just told us that it's not going to be a continuation of the Biden administration. Okay, can you kind of clarify that? Is basically what Brett says. And she comes back with, Donald Trump has said mean stuff. We're talking policy, you fucking retard.
The
I'm going to
policy
be
of
nice.
hating Trump.
I'm going to be very nice, and I won't be mean to anybody, and I won't call me retarded, because it's not nice to say Kamala's retarded. I can't believe he said that.
That's a big old meanie pants word.
I have to correct this donation. I already see that, but let me get it up on the screen here. Thank you so very much. Load up, bitch. There we go. Welcome to my shitty internet. Cryptic, thank you. I feel hungry for salad. Word salad. Listening to Communist Harris, indeed. Except it's not word salad. I pointed this out the other day. Word salad typically still has, thoughts in it. She has verbal diarrhea, and you don't want to eat that.
Yeah, it's a verbal diarrhea that was the result of a salad. So she had word salad, and then it all came flushing out.
Yes. Ragnock, thank you. I figured it out. They are using AI along with the earpiece earrings. I listen to short form stories all the time, and AI has been pushing that side of YouTube and not human stories voices. This would make more sense if it was AI, if I'm being honest.
You know what's sad is you're right.
Yeah. Job for 9, thank you. Are you guys going to do an election watch party? Because this is going to be fun. Yes, we will.
Yeah. I already arranged it that I will be here. I will be sitting at the computer ready to go at as soon as the polls close, and so there's somebody going to take care of the parents for me, so I can be here early. So yeah, I'll be ready whenever you are.
We'll start our coverage as close to 8 p.m. as we can. That's when the polls close here on the East Coast. So 5 on the West Coast, and the Monday before in
Alaska's its own thing. Okay,
it really is. The election night coverage, we'll probably do it like we did last year. We'll just be here talking until either the polling kind of stops or we get an answer. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing it. Are you kidding? That's like my Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, there's no way we're missing that.
Right.
You know, speaking of Alaska, they have the best chance to watch us because it's like middle of the afternoon there, isn't it? Or at least like early evening when we do these like 5 a.m. shows.
I mean, there's a reason we have a decent sized audience in Australia and England. And it's not just because we're sexy sounding and speak English. It's because we're often on when they're like normally watching shit and Americans are asleep.
Yeah. Retro said, hey, you guys try counting votes via dog sled.
Fair.
Sled dogs. True.
Anyway.
It's too cold.
There's a lot of people who are saying in the chat there that we won't have an answer on election night. We very may well. I know that there's a lot of you got the early voting stuff going on, Jack. You got mail-in voting and stuff. It's entirely possible we'll still get one. Nobody expected one in 2016. AP, thank you so much. How you doing, my friend? I did an election watch party 4 years ago. Funny, suddenly they stopped counting votes. Trump was ahead, and at 6 a.m., Biden had 120,000 more votes. We're not supposed to bring up all the weirdness that happened there.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Nothing.
They opened early voting in Georgia the other day, and yesterday, I think it was. And it's the most early voting they've seen yet. And so, somebody asked, what do you think that means? And my immediate answer was, they won't need to pretend that there's as much of a water main leak.
Those water pipes, they're only built to last 4 years.
It's a little bit more fortified, if you get what I'm saying. Ragnar, thank you again. I swear, look up some HFY stories that are AI, the repetition of certain words and patterns of repeating the same statement different ways. AI tends to do that if you fucked around with it at all.
Yeah.
The one where I told you guys I was trying to convince the AI that it was capable of lying, it was just a circular argument. It really was. And yeah, you see the same words pop up over and over. But some people are like that too. Taking a break from painting. You painting your house, or you like Hunter Biden painting?
You doing art stuff?
And have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength.
I'm sorry. As she's pointing a finger at Donald Trump, is she talking about how it got Americans pointing fingers at each other?
It's kind of the impression I got was it's okay when I do it, but people need to stop.
Adding some baseboards. Gotcha. So many of her answers seem to not understand what she's actually saying. It really is like having a Twitter argument.
No, this is dumber than a Twitter argument.
If this was me, somebody answering, or if I was talking to her on Twitter and she's giving these answers, I would give a smart ass answer that points out the flaws in it and end it with really. I do this to liberals all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Cryptic, I'm afraid to even read this because you're being mean to Mickey again. Load up. There you go. Cryptic, thank you. I'm always nice to Mickey. Her bridesmaid group is called the Fellowship. I have succeeded in spreading the good word to her real life friends. You and Mickey make me laugh, dude. Anyway.
Thank you, Evolve Potato. Speaking about the election, a Georgia judge has ruled election officials must certify election results even if there's concrete proof of fraud.
Yep.
Yes, they're not allowed to hand count them either, as I recall.
We have a lot of weird shit going on. And I saw some people who were upset, like, Republicans need to get in front of this thing. Republicans have been trying for the last 4 years. And they've been stopped in the state houses. They've been stopped in Congress. They've been stopped at the courthouses. Just because stuff hasn't happened doesn't mean they haven't been trying. Could they have done more? Sure, I'm sure there's some that could have been done more better, but it is an uphill battle fighting a corrupt system.
Yeah.
Strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up.
You just spent like a minute beating down Donald Trump. How come you're not raising up Trump, sweetie?
Is she gonna start singing "You Raise Me Up"?
No, this is another one of her talking points. Again, she's gone into her talking points answer. She started the interview, Jack, trying to answer questions. She's not good at it. But she's for like the last 3 questions, she's just fallen into her stump speech.
The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Ask her about being a DEI hire. This would be a great point for that. Weren't you picked based on being different from other people?
More than 70% of people.
That is about turning the page on rhetoric.
You've already answered the question. This is how mad she is. She won't even let him go into his next question.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You will listen to me. I'm a woman. Stop mansplaining.
We're backing it up so you can see how this happens. She finishes her answer. He starts to speak, and then she decides to go on. And then she does it a second time.
That the vast majority of us, president, which is leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people.
That is about turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than 70%.
Okay.
Exhausted of like January 6th in Charlottesville.
If the people are so exhausted of it, why is he at best for you dead even?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why are you losing ground in fucking Michigan? But again, remember the question of this is how are you going to be different than Joe Biden? That's the real question. And I am not going to be mean like Donald Trump is. All right, that's an answer, I guess. But what about policy-wise? How are you going to be different than Joe Biden? And she's now yelling about the American people being tired of the divisiveness.
Yeah, she's raising her voice. That is not a good sign for a conversational setting like this.
No. And especially when she's just doing it so that he's not allowed to break in with a relevant point. And in fairness to her, it's probably the smart strategy. The smart strategy here would be to fake diarrhea and run.
Just poop yourself and run.
Yeah. Tyree, thank you. The strength of American president, that is a woman. We need to break the glass ceiling because we need 50% of women in leadership positions and 50% non-white minorities in the other 50% of leadership positions. True. But remember, we don't want to divide people. As we divide people, we don't want them divided. All right.
The people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them.
Yeah, they're not. 79% of them aren't saying Donald Trump is too mean, so we need to stop being mean. And she seems to be saying the same thing with her new way forward, and she can't articulate it. And I do wonder, Jack, if that is part of a deal that was made in her ascension to the primary winner, that she has to not tarnish Biden's legacy, or they will come for her.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. And guys, that's not a conspiracy theory thing. It's the kind of stuff that goes on in politics or even in business. I mean, you have whole legal profession devoted to non-disparagement clauses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they have a legal agreement to it, just that it's not unusual to have, hey, don't disparage us, and we'll support you as long as you don't come at us.
Yeah, it would surprise me at all if there was some sort of agreement between Jill Biden and her campaign, because Jill is the one that's worried about legacy. She's going to be around a lot longer than Joe, and she's going to want like a book deal or something. But you can't you sit around and call Joe, a dementia patient on the campaign trail and preserve that legacy.
And you can't have. How will history remember him if your own vice president goes out there and goes, hey, we spent way too much money and let in way too many illegals?
Yeah. And he's mentally unfit for office.
So, I mean, it would make sense, but you can still give answers. And how would you be different? Well, I'm going to propose this bill or support this thing. It doesn't even have to be different. Most of the press isn't going to pay attention if you say you're going to do exactly what Biden did without actually saying it.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, she comes back with literally her answer there is Trump is mean.
Well, I mean,
he's got Americans pointing the finger at each other, and they're all pointing at me as the problem. Go ahead.
I think she's mad that he didn't grab her by the pussy.
I think she's mad he tried and his hand just went in and didn't touch the sides.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of room in there.
Yeah, he's got small hands, we've heard.
That's unfortunate for him.
Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's been running for office. That is the stupidest fucking answer. That right there, this question and answer session should be in a fucking campaign ad, because like, do you really want this person in office because she's retarded?
Oh my God, we got to watch it all again. If he says what she says here makes no sense. Bro, we've been watching 17 minutes of this and nothing she said has made sense. Literally nothing.
Are we really only 17 minutes into this?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, we are good. Fuck it. Fuck you, EFAP guys. Haha.
EFAP pussies, get it together.
Yeah, this is how pros do it.
That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
They think we need a change, and you've been in power. Why are they saying? Because Donald Trump's been running.
He's been running for office for 8 years. I mean, what kind of answer is that? But he's been running, especially so condescending.
You think people are saying America's on the wrong track because Donald Trump is running for office? Because that's what you just said.
That is what she just said, yeah.
Dear fucking Christ. All right. Dig a little deeper. Let's see.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
No, nobody has any fucking clue what you're talking about, lady.
They say we're on the wrong path. You've been in power. And Trump's been running for election. You know what I'm talking about. No
this is as bad as Tim Walz saying, people know me. No, they don't. They have, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
I, honest to God, don't. Other than Orange Man bad, I have to disparage Trump. I have no idea what her point is here.
I don't,
because it makes no sense. Literally no sense. All right.
You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm
All right. Definitely cupping. Definitely cupping. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You know what? I need to apologize to Brett Baer, because I thought this was going to be just a normal kind of interview that he would push back a little bit and then just go on to the next question, as every other person who's interviewed this idiot has done.
Yeah.
And he has smacked her around a few times. It's still not an ambush. It is an interview for a president, and that's how it should happen.
Yeah, I don't see how they're saying this is an ambush, because he's just asking honest, good questions that should be asked of her.
And so far, he's really only asked 2 questions.
Well, she has answered 0 of them, so.
Yeah, every other follow-up question has been a follow-up based on the answer she's given so far. So while he's asked more than just 2 questions, it's 2 topics, and she hasn't come close to answering anything. All right, let's back it up a little bit so we can get she's gonna explain it, y'all.
Is she?
I'm kind of excited.
You and I both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous.
Wait. Okay, time out. If all of that's true, why are the American people saying we're on the wrong path with you in charge? If anything, the only thing she's making an argument for right now is why people are hesitant to vote for Trump. Because she's not making an argument of what she's going to change, which, again, guys, that is the question. Or even explaining how Donald Trump running for president is what they want change from. Wow. She's making the case for, hey, people should be voting for Trump. But the reason they're not is because of these people. Thank you, Vice President. God damn it. Thank you, Vice President Cockholster. Excuse me, Monk. I'm speaking. Let me be clear. Donald Trump running for my office is stopping me from using my office to turn the page on my great leap forward with friends of school shooters. You should know what I'm talking about by now. Any questions? Oh, so many. Oh, so many.
Yeah, the more and more questions by the minute, honestly.
God bless. This is almost painful. If it wasn't so funny, it would be painful.
Yeah.
And that people.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
No, yesterday I watched Destiny debate Owen Schroyer for about 45 minutes.
Oh,
and it was so fucking dumb, dude. This is way funnier because the answers over there were just like, yeah, well, he's stupid. That was pretty much 2 hours of that. But this is just hilariously bad.
This has been ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you recover from this interview.
This
and again,
is one of the worst interviews I've ever seen for the candidate.
Yeah, and what she's talking about right now, and look, there is no doubt that Trump has been so damaged by the media and partially by some of the stuff he's said and done, but mostly just by the media telling you what a racist, horrible, sexist, rapist, deceiver, and corrupt fraudster that he is, that there's a lot of people who will never consider voting for him.
Yeah.
She's right about that. But there's still enough of Americans, the ones you're trying to pretend that don't disagree about anything, supporting him. And that's what you're being asked about. Why are they still supporting? With all of the horrible shit that even Fox News has said about Donald Trump, how are Americans still saying you guys suck so much that they're thinking of voting for him?
Because they're Hitlerian white supremacists and don't pay any attention to why she didn't pick the Jewish running mate.
Dangerous. Thank you. PR was one of my majors for my journalism degree. If we did a mock interview this bad, we would probably been kicked out of class. Her media people must be more retarded than she is. I am telling you, somebody in her campaign is trying to make her lose.
Now, they're doing a great job.
Nothing else makes sense.
Serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him
Madam
instead
Vice
of
President.
the
You've just spent 2 minutes with your personal grievances against Trump.
Yeah, at least.
Again, the question isn't why are people upset with Trump? It's why do they think the country's on the wrong path with you in charge? That was 79%. Almost 80% of people say that the country's on the wrong path. And it is not because they're tired of how divisive Trump is. That's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Thank you, Cryptic. I'd never go full Tard, but she went full South Park Timmy.
She did.
I agree.
Fuck. No, look, Timmy's smarter. This is Butters right here.
Stop shooting people in the dick, Butters.
American people.
If
People
that's the
are tired
case,
of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is
Fuck, man. I am not used to us watching an interview where we talk about something and then the interviewer actually brings up the relevant point.
I'm scared too, man. He's
like
doing a great job.
Yeah, this is like the 4th time this has happened.
Yeah, I think he's doing it. The fact that neither of us watched this beforehand, which we didn't.
We did not.
It makes me really happy to see somebody actually ask her tough questions because she's done nothing but squirm. She's really, really bad at this.
Why are they all supporting him when you're telling us how bad it is if what they want is change? All right.
is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
What? What the fuck was that?
Oh my god, that was great. What a dodge. Oh, that was amazing. Wow. That was one of the greatest dodges in history, dude.
What the shit is she talking about? Oh my god. All right. We gotta see it again.
Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
It's dumber the second time. Wow.
It's condescending and dumb.
Did you hear how soft her voice was when she started it?
Oh yeah, because she's talking down to him. Brett, you silly little dummy. You dummy dumb. What really tipped me off to this, and now I will fully admit Kamala is black, because I heard the battery going out on a hallway monster. Did you hear that?
I don't get the reference.
Yeah, the little beep. Beep.
Oh no, I didn't.
The hallway bird. Yeah, right when he was asking the question, there's a beep.
Huh. I saw somebody in chat mention the chirp that they heard. I didn't hear it either time.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's while he's talking, you can hear the chirp of the fire alarm battery.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh my god, she's black. Because there are only two people that cannot hear that fucking thing, and that is poor black people and women.
There's
Mostly women.
Actually, I don't know if AP's still here, but in the one Scooby video that he made, Scooby has his fucking fire alarm chirping constantly through it.
Yeah, well, Scooby's a retard who's kind of like a woman. So,
all right. God damn, what a bad answer. And she's gonna keep talking. So
it wasn't a ceiling bird. It was Hair's rebooting.
I said I was excited because we were getting an answer here, and I did not expect that. And I'm even more excited to see where she's going to take it from here.
Yeah, because it's going to be dumb. It's going to be so dumb.
How do you top that?
I didn't think she could top the last one.
Jesus Christ.
I know, but
It's
if
not supposed to be, it is not supposed to be a
So are
cakewalk
they misguided, the
for anyone.
50%?
Listen,
Are
let
they
me-
stupid? What,
Oh
what is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish.
And okay, I'll grant her all of that. But could you answer the question? Why are they supporting him if he's this bad? You're just making the case even worse.
I'm pretty sure that me and Dangerous in the next 2 minutes could find that clip where she says that college age men are stupid.
Oh yeah. She would never do that though.
Oh, she would never do that except the times on video where she has.
So okay, they're not
Liar.
stupid. Why did they disagree with you? Why are 50% of them supporting him?
Yeah, weird that.
Monkey, I have that clip if you want. I gotta try to wrap this up sooner rather than later. But will you send it to me and we'll watch it tomorrow? Yeah, because we still have 8 minutes of this left, Jack.
Oh man, what are we on? 3 hours now?
Yeah. A couple of donations before we move forward. Thank you so much, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist $12. She's right. She wouldn't call the American people stupid. She just calls us a hell of a lot worse. Yeah. Although she actually has called Americans stupid. Matt, thank you so much. Just getting here now, so back to the top for me. If you haven't yet, hit that like button and help Monk and Jack out in the algorithm. Speaking of Mr. Jack, half to him, please. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, Matt. And enjoy the conversation about P-flaps.
Yeah, we're 2 hours and 46 minutes in, Jack, and 2 hours and 15 have just been this.
Yes.
We were about the halfway mark when we started, or half hour mark when we started watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American people, he's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within.
Yeah, he was specifically talking about people who were being anti-American and hurting America.
Yeah, communists.
Yeah, he was not just saying all Americans are the enemy within.
No, that would be those deplorable fuckers, right?
Yes. The clip is only 22 seconds. All right, hang on. Just because we have made a statement here, Jack, and we have definitive proof. Let's bring it up.
Yeah, all righty. Thank you, Dangerous, for finding that. I knew you'd have it on deck.
All right, so it's on the screen, right? My screens are kind of jumbled right now.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Nah, she never said that. I would never call the American people stupid.
It's just the entire demographic.
That is why we put them in dormitories and they have a resident assistant.
I would never call the American people stupid. Just the ones that I'm trying to get a laugh out of at a thing here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
She's talking about the illegals again?
No, she's talking about a statement Trump gave the other day where he was talking about if there was like violent riots and stuff, the kind of shit where, let's say January 6th happened, that he would use the National Guard and, if necessary, the military to take that down. Remember how they were like, why didn't they release the National Guard sooner on January 6th? Apparently now it's a bad thing to suggest that you would do that.
Well, because they know that the left wing is going to be the ones causing violence now.
Yeah.
Especially if she loses, despite their fortification efforts, then they're going to be all pissed off and tear shit up. And they'll be like, oh my God, he's such a monster.
Yeah.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was
And they should have actually played what he said and given the full context of it, because it would have made her look even worse.
Yeah.
Because again, he was not talking about just this is the way that the leftists put it out there, is that if he gets to be president, he is going to turn the military against anyone who disagrees with him.
Yeah.
I actually had an argument over this very thing with a moron on Twitter the other day who told me that Donald Trump was going to change to ease the libel laws so that he can throw people in jail that disagree with him.
That is not what he said at all.
There is such a thing as criminal libel where you can go to jail for it. It never happens, though. What Donald Trump is talking about and specifically said was that he would open up libel laws so that people like him, who aren't protected the same way you and I are, Jack, have the chance to sue when they are viciously slandered by the press.
Yeah. Yeah, because the standard for a celebrity or a public official is incredibly high. And it's way beyond anything you or I have to deal with.
Yep. And specifically, he said sue, not jail. And you know what I was told, Jack? Why are you concentrating on that one part?
Because Mr. Negative Nancy.
Because that's the interesting part. You're saying he's going to jail people when he never said that. Cryptic, thank you. Communist grew up in Canada, explains her values. Yeah, I don't know how this woman is even a U.S. politician. She should go up to Canada. They'd like her. Not the Canadians who watch us, but the rest of you. Look, y'all know it. How many times did you guys vote in Trudeau?
Oh, it's just sad.
Heated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to
that
you.
Was the question
he told you what he was going to show. He said he was asked about this, and here's his response to it. And you're like, you didn't show him saying this stuff. Again, they should show it because it would put it into context and make you look even dumber. But she's almost gone into destiny debate strategy here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I have this point that has nothing to do with anything, and we're going to talk about this point. That's my point. This will be out of the news cycle by tomorrow. The news cycle isn't what you got to worry about. It's the meme cycle, and this is going to be in it for a little while.
Oh, yeah, this social media is going to have all sorts of fun with this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Facebook's already working on taking it down and banning people, but nonetheless.
Fuck, all you have to do is what we just did a moment ago. Play her go, I would never call the American people stupid. And then play her, calling people stupid.
Yeah.
We asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is
where you just made those claims. You made 3 very specific claims. You have a social media account. Play those parts uncut. I dare you.
Ooh, uncut? I don't know about that.
This is the kind of bitch who keeps telling us that Donald Trump has said good people on both sides, and that he meant that about Nazis and KKK members. But totally trust that she is not taking anything out of context. What a twat. God damn.
Democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States in the United States of America should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
In a democracy, if somebody says they will lock people up for disagreeing with them and they're voted in, democracy worked. You get that, right?
What?
This is the part of democracy that they never want to talk about. Democracy can lead to bad things. All it means is that the mob ruled, you dumb motherfucker. Ragnar, thank you. Department of Defense Bill 5240.01 claimed Trump is trying to overthrow the government, quietly pass authorization of lethal force against American citizens. I would have to look up the bill. Is this who's making the claim there? I'm very confused. Anyway, look how mad she is. Look at that face. Grrr.
That's her angry mama bear look. Grrr.
Grrr.
And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
I don't know what she's looking at. Somebody on the side just gave her a hand wave or something. Okay, once again, though, the question is, with all of that horrible shit, even if you take everything you said as fact, which it's not, why are 50% of Americans still supporting him?
Yeah, she's so close to calling them Nazi fascists or something, but she's not there yet. She's super close, though.
Benjamin says it's always funny when women try to be intimidating. Yeah. Grrr.
So
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald...
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
He is not quoted in the Bob Woodward book. Other people say he said it.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. She said the Joint Chiefs guy said Mark Milley said
that Milley said. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Mark Milley also said that Donald Trump said he would never be photographed with amputees because it looks bad.
Yeah, well, that guy's a liar. So,
despite the fact you can go out and find several pictures like that without even trying.
Yeah, it's not hard.
And thank you for the correction there, because you're right. She was talking about what Milley had said there.
Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump. You call Donald Trump.
What? He's not diminishing the significance of it. One, you've already said it at least twice in this interview. At least twice she's brought up the people who work for Trump didn't like him. You mean the Washington insiders? Yeah.
Most of them were guys that he fired.
Right.
He's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this.
I just have to pause for a second. You guys can't see it on your screen, but Fox News, it's 4:22 Mountain Time down there, and I have to stop anytime I see the numbers 4:22 together and acknowledge how wonderful I am.
Yes, indeed. It's a good time, though. Thank you, Tyrai. I remember being called a deplorable and that my man made me vote for Trump. There were military leaders that went behind Trump's back when he was president, not obeying their lawful orders of the commander-in-chief. Yeah, they lied to him about removing troops from Syria, and they never did. Yeah, that's you're not the bad person. They are the bad people.
Thank you, Dangerous. January 6th, Sixthers have been locked up for unlawful parading. Democrats have changed laws to pursue Trump, which by definitions mean he hadn't broken the law. By the way, Milley went behind Trump's back to talk to China. True.
Yeah.
We know that the Joint Chiefs and several high-ranking military officers were absolutely betraying their oath of office and not doing what the president instructed them to do.
Yep.
You are talking about people who at a more civilized time would have been fucking hung for treason.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist $12. 5240.01 is a directive that was reissued, which allows U.S. service members to be allowed to assist domestic law enforcement agencies up to and including with lethal force. Ah, okay. Gotcha. And the whole use of military against U.S. citizens. Am I the only one that remembers the Civil War?
Apparently.
Because remember, in the Civil War, the North never believed that the South was a separate country. They were states needed brought back under control.
Yeah.
Absolutely used the military against our own people, and many suggest rightfully so.
Well,
Anyway.
at least Lincoln went out of his way to suspend the posse comitatus at the time.
True.
Nowadays, they'll just go around it and shout Patriot Act or some bullshit, and they just ignore the law.
But we haven't actually seen it used, and the National Guard should be called up first. And even in January 6th, they wouldn't have been used for any kind of lethal force. It's just as a show of force to keep people from acting a fool.
Yeah, you could get people out there and thump them with sticks for crowd control.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of the military being able to shoot Americans outside of a very, very serious crisis.
Mess as Tim Pool remembers every day.
Yeah, it's his wet dreams.
My only point being there are times when it could be called for, and it's not the horror everybody wants to point. Look, it should be the last resort. But that doesn't mean it can never happen,
Yeah.
Jack. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it could
told
happen. I don't like the idea of it, though.
Me neither. Like I said, it should be the very last thing, but they keep acting like, how dare you ever suggest that? You're the same people who are mad that the National Guard, which in case you guys didn't know, is the military, weren't used fast enough on January 6th. Look how long it took him to call that in. Anyway.
Many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room.
Uh-huh.
And he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
Is she going to refuse to say that he's see, this is what I was talking about earlier, Jack. There might be an agreement in place that she can't say that.
I think you're right, because she's had a lot of opportunities, and this is the most specific one yet, but she is dodging and weaving. Real quick, I got a couple stacked up here. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Conspiracy time with Uncle Jack. Ooh, that's my favorite time. Why would they quietly reintroduce such a directive? We know they like to scream at national threats at everything right-wingers do. That's true. But if you were going to fortify the election, you would want to be able to stop any of those deplorables from getting all antsy in the pantsy. Either that, or they are worried about like Antifa, because it is very convenient timing. I'm just saying.
They're doing it so they can pretend that they care about a January 6th happening again.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Not even against the South. Lincoln used troops to murder protesters of the Civil War in the North.
Yeah.
Well, they were obviously subversives. And to jail political opponents and journalists.
True.
That was common practice at that time.
Fuck, Obama went after journalists, and they never talk about that shit.
Yeah, Cheryl Atkinson had her phone tapped.
Yeah.
Who was the one they threw in jail for a while? Because I know it was Cheryl Atkinson got spied on. James Rosen, they threatened with jail. But there was somebody they actually did lock up. And then there was that Michael Hastings guy that died under questionable circumstances when he tried to write an article that the CIA could hack into the Wi-Fi of cars and remotely steer them.
Yeah.
That wasn't scary shit at all. So yeah, it's not unheard of for this sort of thing to happen. The last president to lock up journalists, I think, was Woodrow Wilson, because the Supreme Court ruled on it after that.
Yeah.
Or it was either Woodrow Wilson or FDR. But
I want to say it was Wilson. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm a little rusty on that part of history, but it's been done for a long time, and nobody said anything about it until much later down the line.
And it only gets brought up these days when it's Trump or Republican that's threatening it. And look, they shouldn't be doing that either. But what Donald Trump has said is not that the media is the enemy. They love that. The media is the enemy. He was specifically talking about lying in the media.
Yeah.
What they call misinformation.
Yeah. Also, there was the case after World War I where MacArthur was ordered to handle a bunch of people that were promised. There were former soldiers that were promised bonuses, and they had a protest on the lawn or the National Mall out in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and they just rolled tanks over them. They went out and killed a whole bunch of these guys that were promised extra money for fighting in the war, and they didn't get it. And they were out protesting, having a little like Hooverville basically, and they just rolled through and killed a bunch of people. So yeah, history's full of all sorts of horrors.
There were no
Oh yeah, Eagle just mentioned
Joe
that.
Biden is
Sorry.
not
Oh yeah.
on ballot.
I understand.
And
but,
Donald Trump
but
is.
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
after George
is.
Clooney said
and
within a
if
few
you
minutes of
watch
talking to President
Donald
Biden at a
Trump-
fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate
Donald
stage.
Trump is on the ballot.
I understand.
It's not about Joe being on the ballot. It's about when you notice that he had a flaws in his memory. Even Van Jones cried on national television about how diminished Joe Biden clearly is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a question about your character. When did you notice these things, and why didn't you speak up sooner?
Motherfucker.
You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man, she's slick.
You didn't have any concerns. I think the American people, remember, I just want to point out that her answer right there, I think the American people have concerns about Donald Trump. This all started because she was asked why people are supporting him. I think the American people have concern about Donald Trump.
This is a
sure.
Sorry.
No, that's it. Sure.
This is a good time for me to shill my Trump is shirt. Because I have Trump is merchandise. For those of you that don't know, it allows you to fill in the blank. Trump is. I got the idea from DC Comics. Darkseid. Whenever Darkseid shows up, his acolytes always say Darkseid is.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was like, oh, that'd be a good Trump shirt. So I've only sold like 2. So there you go.
Kevin says, I hate this woman and it hurts to know Dad voted for her. People are often swayed to vote for people based on all kinds of different reasons. Don't hold it against your dad is all I'm saying.
Yeah, he may not be as informed.
He may act. Look, I don't like that this is true, Jack, but you can look at Kamala and Trump and support Kamala. If you are into higher taxes and destroying the economy, making things better for small businesses and new time buyers and parents, there's arguments to be made there if you're on her side. I think if you're on her side, you're probably bad for the country, but still, it is possible for people to support her legitimately over him. You could look at this and think that Donald Trump is so bad that a woman this retarded is still better than him. I would disagree with you a lot on that, but it is possible. And my only point there is that so many people think that if you support her, you have to be evil. You don't. And you don't even have to be stupid. you just have different values than I do. And if you're a commie, you are stupid and evil. Anyway.
Yeah. Dangerous made a good point that saying that Trump looks unstable while shouting at Brett Baer, probably not a real good look.
He's unstable, don't you get it? As she's eating her own shit.
Yeah, smearing it on the wall.
The people who know him best, including leaders of our national security.
Did she just say this like 2 minutes ago, or did you rewind it?
No, she said this 3 times now at least. But the people who know him best aren't people. Do you think you know your boss the best?
No.
Or do you think maybe his wife knows him best and his friends, the people he hangs out with on the weekend, know him best? The people who know him best, you know, that general that he saw once a week maybe and fired?
Really fired.
That was like his bestest friend. He knows everything about him.
You don't even know. You just don't understand. They were buddies.
The
They
people
had
who know him
long
best.
affair.
Jesus, maybe his kids know him a little bit. Right. If you guys were like, hey, who knows Monkey best? Do you think it would be Jack, who I work with almost daily, or my own children and wife?
Your own children and wife would know you better.
Community have all spoken out, even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So
the job was open because Donald Trump, you have to ask somebody to run with you. And she makes it sound like Mike Pence declined the offer. There was no, Jesus Christ.
You know, when Trump ran for re-election, he could dump Pence and pick somebody new anyway. That's a fucking ridiculous thing to say. She has nothing to say here. She's just babbling.
That's why the job was open, because Mike Pence doesn't like him. No, the job was open because that's how the system works, you ignorant slut. That term has never been more relevant since Dan Aykroyd first said it.
Yeah, you're so right on that one. Jane, you ignorant slut.
You ignorant slut.
that is a fact. That is a fact.
But, okay, again, the question, though, is when you noticed your boss was retarded. When did you know you saw him every day, according to you. You hung out. You were the last one in the room on all major decisions, and you didn't notice any decline. Trump sucks. Yeah, but did you notice it? No, I'm telling you, Trump sucks. I get that.
I get the impression she doesn't notice much of anything unless it's literally right in front of her mouth.
Oh, my God.
Madam Vice President, 2 more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country
do you fairness, before we get to this, we can't be sure that whatever answer she gave is the actual answer she gave, because we know they've switched answers. I just want to be fair to Kamala here. All right.
That the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands. Okay.
I didn't even pick up on this at the time, but naming Iran as she says Iran. She's trying to do that.
Ironic.
Iran, yeah. You wouldn't say China?
Or no, Joe Biden made too much money from them.
Even as a Democrat, Russia? You went with Iran?
Especially because they gave Iran $100 billion or something ridiculous.
Kitty watches you as you poop. Thank you so much. Kamala Harris is making Keir Starmer and Justin Trudeau look remotely competent.
Man, when you're making Starmer look competent, you're doing something horribly wrong.
She's making Corky from Life Goes On look competent.
You know what? I would trust Corky with the nuclear codes before either Biden or Harris.
True.
Or Walls.
Walls would just find a good accessory.
This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran.
Okay, look, fuck Iran for firing those missiles at Israel, but how is that a threat to me? How is that a threat to America, Jack?
I don't know. I don't know how any of this is working right now. Her answers are fucking ludicrous.
I was so irritated with her fucking answers during this that I missed all of this part. And the clear problems with naming Iran and saying that they fired missiles at the Jews is a threat to America. All right.
Never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power. That is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the number one threat?
This bitch is going to bring up the bombing that gave concussions to some of our soldiers, isn't she?
Probably. Or the killing of Soleimani, which made Iran our biggest enemy or some bullshit.
Metal Minister, thank you. Still 90 minutes behind, but I swear Harris requires Velcro on her sneakers as well to keep her meat flaps closed. Wow.
Ew.
Wow.
That's funny, but gross.
It's nasty. All right.
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion, that Iran posed a threat to Israel. I was.
You said Iran is the biggest threat to America. How come you're not acting like it? Twice they fired missiles at Israel.
And
what the fuck? You can't even answer that question? Oh my God. All right.
There. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military.
I was in the office working. I was totally working, you guys. Jesus. That was most not convincing answer yet. Working.
Thank you, Metal Minister. Also, YouTube won't let me say Kamala in Super Chat. Like her actual name at all? Or were you putting a U in there or something? Are you not allowed to say Kamala in Super Chat?
That would not surprise me at this point.
Doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself and to give Americans.
We need to always defend them so they defend themselves.
So they fulfill that requirement of defending themselves. Yeah, duh. If they don't, they're retarded.
Oh my. Okay. All right.
Support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
Say Gaza, I dare you.
Yeah.
And that is, and my commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump.
Of course. Joel, thank you so much. Kamala test, maybe this worked. It did. Yeah, it came through. Thank you.
It might be regional.
Could be.
We've seen that before.
Jenna, thank you. Kamala. Oh, I've heard you can't say monkey rocks in Super Chat. Especially for big donations.
Big throbbing donations.
I appreciate you guys testing it out. All right. What the shit is she even talking about here?
She's trying so hard to deflect.
All of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's
in
go back to
oil
Donald
profits.
Trump,
Hold on.
who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put
But here
Iran in check.
the estimate.
The best your deal did was put off when they would get nukes. They haven't fired nukes at Israel. This is meaningless. In fact, he was just asking you about giving Iran money, which is what we did for that deal, you silly bitch. And your argument is that Donald Trump ended the deal? Wow. This is, okay. All right. I see why they called it an ambush, Jack, because she has failed this interview so badly.
Oh, man. She has been nothing but flailing this entire time. This is, I have secondhand embarrassment for her.
God damn. All right. Let's take it back a second.
Pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates
and then
in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's
that
administration
go towards
that
the Iran regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked.
There it is.
Where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches. Not to mention how
they had concussions. The question is about you and what you guys did. It's not about what Donald Trump did. How come you guys didn't crack down on Iran?
They're busy killing aid workers.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Trump has
all of this money
has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers.
Hamas
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full.
What?
I would like to have a conversation where you just listen and let me lie through my teeth and say nonsense. That's my favorite kind.
Assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes. You giving an answer so that they can decide is important, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, she just made this catty, snide little remark and implied that he wasn't like being fair to her. Like
nothing.
Now I can see that she's feeling ambushed now.
Yeah, but she hasn't been. She's only been asked relevant question. Thank you, Snooch, who says monkey rocks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Somebody said that didn't work. Told you it would. Anyway, wow, this is she's ending it worse than we've seen so far because she's just angry.
Yeah, she's angry, and I think she feels like this should have been another softball interview. She's never challenged.
No.
So she honestly, I think, is like confused by this.
Mm-hmm. If you wanted to have a conversation, then you would have, and all you've done is, I can't even say all she's done is obfuscate, because it's not even that. It is so wildly inappropriate, some of her answers. Like, why are the American people supporting Donald Trump 50%? Nobody said an election should be easy. The fuck are you talking about, lady?
That is such a non-answer.
Has she answered a single question yet directly? Like actually given an answer that was to the question that was asked?
I don't think so.
I can't think of any. I think in the debate she did it maybe once. The closest we've seen, even when they showed the Stephen Colbert one where she was asked, what would you do different than Joe Biden? She didn't answer that question. She just said, I'm not Joe Biden. I'm not Donald Trump. The woman can't give a straight answer.
Well, she's not real smart, but yeah, she purposely doesn't answer questions. don't understand how she's gotten away with it this long. If this is an example of the future interviews we could see from her, she's not going to give any more, first of all. And second of all, her campaign is going to tank if she's even pressed a little bit. Because if she's this defensive and a couple of reasonably tough questions, she's going to implode way worse than this.
First, let me get this. Keldrick, thank you. Of course, Slabs won't let you say Kamala. It's racist to mispronounce her name. Say it right. Camel toe. Fair. I wouldn't even say that these are tough questions. These are pretty simple, straightforward questions.
They are to us, but to her, these are very tough questions. These are the toughest questions anyone's asked her.
Thank you, Tyrai. Trump has visited the base that I work on at least 2 times. Also, she brings up the Iran attack after Trump had Soleimani assassinated. Fortunately, TBI was the worst that happened. I was deployed in the region and saw pictures of the damage. Yeah, look, nobody's saying that our troops getting I don't think anybody even died in the attack, right? It was just the secondary attack or issues from, being in a place where bombs were falling.
Yeah, you're going to have injuries, maybe not life-threatening, but they're going to be injuries.
Yeah, and
nobody was making light of that.
No. And their argument is Donald Trump didn't do enough about that. And if you want to make that's fine. Absolutely, if you think Donald Trump should have turned them to glass for that, I can understand that belief. But the issue isn't that. The issue is why, if this is fuck what Donald Trump did, it's entirely irrelevant to this situation. If they are the most dangerous, why have they put it up on the screen and they didn't get to talk about it, but they showed the Iranian oil sales. In 2021, it was 32 billion, and every year since it's been over $50 billion. Mm-hmm. That is a direct response to what the Biden administration has done with lifting sanctions and stuff as they try to press against Russia, which makes no fucking sense. But it's their direct actions that have led to that. But Donald Trump, he didn't bomb Iran when he could have. That's not a fucking answer. Okay, it is an answer. It's not a good answer, and it doesn't address the question. Black Dynamite, thank you. Is she still doing the Joe Rogan podcast? I heard she was going on Rogan. I don't. If she's smart, she doesn't. Although I don't think Joe will push her too much.
No, he'll softball it.
I think I don't think he'll be like Brett Baer is here, because he does try to have more conversational. As far as I know, he's only had one really terse, I guess is the word I want, interaction, and he's been apologetic about it. He's not sorry for what he said and his position there, but for how it went down. So I don't expect that he'd have her on there and press her in any major way.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision that they feel.
Who look at what the
wait, what important contrast? The worst thing you said about Trump is that he said these guys had headaches. You didn't say he was soft on Iran in any way. You're being accused of being soft on Iran, so I guess that is a contrast. But you're not addressing that soft on Iran part. I don't even fucking understand this lady.
Administration did and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say.
There are a lot of things that people want to learn about you. And
she even talked over him in that. Yeah. I hope you got to say what you want. There's a lot I want to say about Donald Trump. The guy with the personal grievances. I have so many grievances against him. Fuck. Anyway.
A lot of things.
There's more to say. I have
there
much more
there
to
are
say,
a lot of things that people want to learn about you and your policies.
Yes.
And that's why
I invite everyone to go to kamalaharris.com, and you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive. And
and you can't articulate one of them in a conversation that went 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
It should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do.
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most
I'm just going to
lethal
keep talking.
and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,
I am concerned that if she wins, he's going to get sad.
we'll just put that up there. What'd you think, Jack?
That was embarrassing. I
Very.
mean, seriously, one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of a candidate. She could not answer questions that, like you said, these aren't even the hardest questions that could be asked, but they were challenging enough that you would expect them from an honest press.
Yeah. But she hasn't had to deal with an honest press.
Exactly.
And I want to give all credit to Brett. He pushed back as good as you can with somebody who just flat refuses to answer questions. I wish he would have mentioned that she refused to answer the questions. Why? I said this to him on Twitter. Not that he pays attention to me. He's not a sitting congressman. I make myself laugh, and I'm okay with it. His first question should have been, why can't you answer a direct question?
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
That is what she needs to be asked. And I guarantee you her answer would have something to do with Trump.
No, well, first she would have to explain that she was raised in a middle-class household.
Indeed. And, you know, she did not hit her two big ones, that her values haven't changed. Apparently the polling has come in on these, and it's not doing well for her because she didn't do that or the middle-class household thing.
I think that she just got too flustered and couldn't remember to go back to those.
Nope, because the reason I don't think that's true is because she clearly went to her campaign speech several times.
Yeah, that's true.
I think she was told not to bring that, stop using those. They're not hitting the way we want them to.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, thank you, Kyrie. Did she just literally clap back at the end of that interview?
Yes.
Yep.
Dark Conservatarian, thank you. You know what? Kamala is brat. She's a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
It was funny watching this because this was bad. This is worse than I expected it to be.
Yeah, this is just straight up embarrassing, man.
And part of that is Brett Baer, that he did push back in the proper ways, and she was not able to handle it.
No, you saw her get visibly angry numerous times.
Yeah.
And there was no need for some of the ways she was being condescending. She came off as arrogant. And I don't think it works for her.
Dark Conservatarian, thank you. Also, Slabs wouldn't let me say Kamala's full name. You know what? This does happen with YouTube sometimes, where you get put on a list for things you've said before. We've had it happen, if you go back, I want to say around the 2020 election, where people weren't allowed to say some things that other people had no issue saying. And it is based on how you speak in chats on YouTube. They do keep an eye on that. Not a single person, but like they have an algorithm for it.
Yeah. It's a couple times it's been regional, like certain regions can't say certain things. So there's a couple reasons why that happens, and it's really irritating because we like money.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, Hazard, I see what you're saying in there, that this won't move the needle, or that she's going to win barely. And that you don't think polls matter that much. It's like reading tea leaves. Polls do matter. And if you actually look at the polls, both in 2016 and 2020, they were leading to the results that we got. Are they perfect or spot on? No, but they are a bellwether. And we do know that they slant, and this is not a conspiracy. They do slant towards the Democrats because they believe more people are Democrats, although that just changed, Jack. There's
Oh,
more
yeah?
registered Republicans in the country now than registered Democrats.
Huh.
But these polls are slanted towards the Democrats, and when you see that she's losing them, that is a big tell. There's a reason that they freaked out. There's a reason she's on a media blitz. It's because their internal polling is tanking. I saw somebody the other day, I forget who it was. Maybe Joe Scarborough, I forget, but Donald Trump mentioned that the poll, he was leading in polls in Michigan, and I forget the other state he mentioned. And the news person is like, I don't know where he's getting that information. It's coming from the Democrats. The first person to sound the alarm about how bad she's doing here in Michigan was Slotkin, who's running as a Democrat for the Senate. That was the leak that goes out to Axios that Slotkin said that she was underwater. And since then, we've seen the polls start to show that at best, she's tied with Trump in the state. And if the polls are saying that, that means she's underwater in the state.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happened. And I don't think she has a chance in hell of winning. And the more she talks, the worse it gets. Because that interview was bad. We've watched many interviews, Jack, where at the end of it, we're like, that was so fucking bad. And I'm angry and I'm upset and I'm annoyed because the interviewer didn't do their job.
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of fun with this one because Brett did what he was supposed to do. He asked the relevant questions and she couldn't handle any of it.
No, not at all. I have some secondhand embarrassment for people working on her campaign. You know, they're standing there off screen, holding their head in their hand like, oh, dear God, this is horrible.
You will say this all again in 2026. I was wrong about Trump's election in 2016. I thought he was going to lose, but you can go back and listen. I told people Biden was going to win in 2020 because of the polls. I don't know how long you've been around here, Hazard, but I'm not somebody who just says what I think the audience wants to hear. I often piss off my audience with my opinion.
So frequently.
And then they get mad again when I'm right. Anyhow. Yeah, Kamala did really bad here. If I'm her team, I do everything I can to get this interview suppressed.
Yeah, they're gonna start calling in every favor they have as social media companies to get clips of this taken down because this was just embarrassingly bad. The fact that she got angry so quickly, which we've heard that she's infamously got a temper.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that here, the way she was kind of snapping at him. I don't think that's a good look.
No, it's a horrible look. Especially when one of the things that women politicians do have to worry about is like coming off as an angry woman. Is it fair? No. Men do get away with being a little angrier than women do because it just plays worse when a woman does it.
Yeah, it really does. When men get angry, that's sort of on par. You kind of expect that, but you expect women to be a lot more even keel, able to control their emotions better.
Which is weird because that's actually not normal. Women should get angrier more.
Yeah, because they have tiny girl brains and
they're more emotional. Stop it.
That's what I just said.
That answer about why people are still supporting Trump with everything horrible she just said. Nobody said no. There's so many better answers to that.
Yeah.
How about
so bad?
He's tapped into an anger that people have, or he's been able to pull the wool over people's eyes. There's lots of answers you could have given there.
He's a tricky one.
And instead, she almost falls back on it was a debate answer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. It seemed like it was she wanted to say something along those lines, but it didn't really work out for her. But man, what a whole bunch of horrible answers. But those two questions near the end there that we talked about pretty heavily, I think she really flubbed those, and those are going to be the clips that circle around.
I would be pushing the one with the little girl. Do you owe them an apology? Donald Trump's a dick.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, not exactly a good response to that.
There was not a good response in this whole thing, and not a straight response in any of it. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Kamala Harris trying her best to end her political career. Well done, I guess. Yeah, it's a lot harder to suck your way back up than to suck your way up the first time, lady, because you're older and you got vagina neck now, and nobody wants to look down at that.
Yeah.
So good luck, and thank you, Kamala, for doing that, because that was funny as shit. I'm honestly flabbergasted at some of the answers she gave.
Yeah. Those were just poorly. I don't know. Did she prepare for this at all? Because it doesn't look like it.
I think she over prepared for it. She was expecting, and this is why she goes into her stump speeches. She was expecting a little bit of pushback, but she expected Brett to do what everyone else does. She did not give an answer, and if there's a follow-up, she'll not give an answer again, and then they just move on. And he kept pushing, and that she was not prepared for. She had her stump answers ready. If they bring up this, you say Trump had bombs in Iran and said a headache. She had all of her normal answers prepared. And I think that's why Brett was able to have his notes where he wasn't having to flip through pages. He knew what was coming. And she was not expecting that part. She prepared. She just wasn't prepared for an actual interview.
Yeah, it showed.
Yeah. She was ready for another softball, be allowed to just say, you know what I'm saying. I really don't, Madam Vice President. What the fuck are you talking about?
What you talking about, Kamala?
That clip should go everywhere. You know what I'm talking. I don't know what you're talking about.
People know me. I'm just a knucklehead. I want Brett Baer to interview Walz now.
I expect we will see Kamala on some other major thing. She can't do 60
like
minutes.
Rachel Maddow or something, though.
No, she'll go somewhere very, very complimentary to her. I don't know, MSNBC, probably CNN, maybe one of the major the main networks. Maybe she'll have a follow-up on 60 Minutes. But she's got to get this one buried.
Yeah, this needs to fall out of the news cycle for her.
That was so bad. So bad. With that, guys, we are almost 4 hours into this, and we're going to wrap up. So thank you. I can actually go to sleep. Unfortunately, I slept way too much last night, so my whole fucking schedule's off again, Jack.
Sad.
Damn it. On the plus side, nobody has to worry about the world blowing up. I think I'm going to go play some Planet Coaster. I'm so excited for 2 coming out.
That's about roller coasters and not drink coasters.
Planet Coaster from the Planet Planet series. There's Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo. I was watching a great video about it, Jack, because Roller Coaster Tycoon was a huge game.
Yeah, great game.
So was Zoo Tycoon from Microsoft. And both companies eventually screwed their own properties. And the guys at Frontier came out with Planet Coaster, and then they did Planet Zoo, and now Planet Coaster 2. And I love those kind of games. And I've spent more time than I want to admit designing roller coasters, trying not to kill people. But I have a lot of fun with it, and I think I'm gonna go do that for a few hours. And so what I'm getting at, though, is you guys don't have to worry about anything horrible happening because I won't be sleeping. That's all I was really getting at.
You say that now, but
I mean, I'll eventually go to sleep. I still like Architect. Parkitect is great. So was Zoo, not Zoo Tycoon. Sim Theme Park, which was that one Microsoft as well. That one was a lot of fun back in the day as a kind of a different take on the theme park genre, Jack. It was a lot more interactive. I don't think interactive is the right word I'm looking for here, But I had a lot of fun with it. I love all of those kind of games. And if you do like those, check out Planet Coaster. It's a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for the donations. You guys are fucking amazing, and we really, really appreciate it. Scribe is streaming now. What the fuck is Scribe? Scribe doing streaming at 6. What's he up to?
Oh, is he on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
like
3 a.m. there.
3 a.m. I must be alone. Anyway, Jack, anything you want to show out, my friend?
I dropped a link earlier to a cool video. Are you going to be gaming on Twitch?
I am not going to be gaming today. I need to do a test run on gaming, on my gaming setup, and see how we're running. We should be. I know I was streaming this time last year because we were playing Phasmophobia, getting ready for Halloween. So I just need to do a test run on it and see how well it's working. But I haven't done that yet. So until I do, I'll let y'all know when I'm going to be game streaming.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said
no,
real quick, Eagle said, I thought you said you were going to be. No, I said I was going to go play the game, not play it on stream. Sorry, go ahead, bud.
No, but no, I dropped the link already. So if you guys want to watch a cool video, links in there. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. These shows tend to be kind of long when we do these analyses, but oh boy, was this one worth it. I feel so much better about Trump's chances now.
Anybody with a wrench, can you drop Scribble's link into chat there? Guys, go hang out with Scribe as he's live. Good friend of the show, great friend of mine, and we love the guy. Jack, I love you as well, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh yeah, always glad to be here.
Look, I'm not always glad to be here. Look, I'm always glad to do the show, but a lot of times after something like this, I'm so done. And tonight I had a great time. It's nice to have fun doing one.
Yeah, this was so much better than some of the other ones we had to do.
Indeed. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. Take care of yourselves. We love you. Make sure all of your friends and family, if they don't watch this, at least send them the Brett Baer interview and be like, this is who you're thinking of voting for.
Right.
Thank you guys for hanging out, Jack. Pleasure. Everyone, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
The show is over. It's time to go. Kamala's a dirty hoe. She couldn't answer a single question. What rhymes with question?